Love you, Cheide.
Hello, everybody! Wow! I totally got put off. I was not ready for our intro, but we're here now. What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome to Beyond the Realms, session 38. Oh, good Lord. We're going to be past our 40s by the time we get to Gen Con.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
My back's going to start aching.
That's right. Your joints get a little bit sore, but you know, on the one side, you can be like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in your 40s, and on the other hand, you could be like a Vin
Zach
Diesel.
Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis is immortal. That is a true Fey creature, if I do say so myself. Speaking of Fey creatures. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. No things to say off the bat. We've got a shit ton of content to get through today because we are starting episode 1 of a new arc. That's right, I'm on.
I'm going to say, whoa, not whole.
No. Say, whoa, surprise new campaign.
Wait.
New campaign, all new characters.
Damn
Oh, jeez.
No, we are starting a fresh new arc, everyone. A very tantalizing special arc that I've been working on for quite some time that is going to lead us into our live performance of Gen Con, because we gonna be there in September during the weekend of September 16th to the 19th, I want to say. We are coming to you, live performance on the Thursday at noon on the main stage. We're going to be doing a live rendition of this very campaign. So if you are going to Gen Con or you've been watching the show for a long time and want to see our dumb faces, please come out. Tickets are just around $8 and they're all going to charity. We're not even pocketing any of this money. We're not being like actual D&D characters and rolling sleight of hand and pocketing some change. It's all going to charity. Every single one. So please come and check us out there if you can. We would love to see you. But with all that out of the way, everybody, I didn't get to say a chance to say this to the players before the stream, but hello, everyone. Welcome. It's so lovely to see you this week.
Love you, Kevin.
So let's stretch the legs, crack the knuckles, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive right on into tonight's episode of Beyond the Rails. All right, so last we left off, the party had a relatively terrifying encounter with a person they knew to be Zaif, leader of the Ruined Saints crime syndicate, but recently has revealed himself to be Gloomwing, an ancient battle mage during a time known as the Divine War, an Aarakocra draped head to toe in golden paladin-like armor. The party having investigated an incident with the Academy of Arcana in the golden city of Asgard. Infiltrated this mage complex. There was a radiant dome around the entire section of this city. Going in to investigate, the entire inside of this mage complex had been blown to shreds in this sort of static frozen time explosion of sorts. You went in there, went to a few rooms, found out a lot of varying, tantalizing pieces of information that eventually led you to the very back of the complex at one standing Mage Tower, where Salvia, director of the Academy of Arcana, and a few of her teachers and pupils were trying to restrain Gloomwing in this ritual casting binding spell, trying to keep him to this plane, holding an Insidium cube looming over this mechanical gear-like box with various rubies and emeralds inside. This binding spell trying to hold him in as this plume of velvet smog was just erupting all over the place. You then joined the fray, trying to complete the binding spell. You indeed did trap Gloomwing in the main section of the tower for quite some time, but with many shadowed horrors appearing out of the fog, wave after wave after wave of attack descended upon your party, and unfortunately, one of you went down as the lovely Rhaenyra caught one too many deadly slashes from the Shadowed Horde and fell and failed not one, not two, but 3 death saving throws, and her life had ended. And with the most of you still caught up in the fray dealing with Gloomwing and the Shadowed Horrors, not many of you were able to really notice that she had even gone down. If it wasn't for Sir Strange, because as the battle rose up and it looked like you were getting quite the advantage on Gloomwing, a certain Pallid Elf gunslinger, bereft with guilt from how they had treated your party before, was the only one who saw Rhaenyra down and shouted out into the ether to Gloomwing, to anyone who would answer, just begging, what do I have to do to stop more death? What can I do to save more people? And in doing so, rolled a natural 1 to this gesture where Gloomwing reached out to Mullet's brain and basically said, come to the center of the binding circle, this metal box, destroy it, and I will give you the power to save Rhaenyra. And with Mullet being super, super quick, was able to jump right into that binding spell, 3 straight shots to this metal box, cracking it. It was on the verge of exploding. The rest of you didn't have that much time to act, convincing Mullet to stay here with you, join this fight, don't give in to the fear. It came down to Gloomwing, and in his last turn, shooting at, or attacking at disadvantage, hit all 3 of attacks on this metallic box, turning it into another giant explosion, this black smoke filling the entire room. And with Salvia and all the mages slain by this point, there was not much else you could do, as whatever Gloomwing was attempting to do, letting in some other plane into the realm of Asgard, had taken hold. The entire room went black, the party knocked out. All but one could see through the eternal blackness, that being Sir Strange. Looking on, seeing Gloomwing walking out of the main chamber of this Mage Tower, had a conversation with Gloomwing and pleaded with him to give Sir Strange the ability to bring Rhaenyra back. And also revealing a name, Oswick, constantly referring to Sir Strange as Oswick, suggesting that they had a prior friendship past. Not too sure at this point. But at that pleading, Gloomwing taking out this glass canister with 2 heavy metallic materials capping off in either ends, and this black ooze pressing up against the glass, many veins jutting out from it, trying to escape, gave that vial to Sir Strange and said, if you ingest this, this will give you the power to bring her back. And without hesitation, Sir Strange, gulping the essence in one go, could feel his entire insides rearranging, changing, black veins appearing out of their skin all over their body as this fiery, almost like mini bits of metal shredding them from the inside, suddenly subsided, and was able to cast the resurrection spell on Rhaenyra. And once the blackness had finally dissipated, you all woke up and could see strange purple light coming in through any available windows around the central chamber of the Mage Tower. Gloomwing was gone, mages' bodies on the ground. Whatever that metal box was shattered into a bunch of pieces, one corner piece still remaining on the ground where you last saw it. As Rhaenyra awoke, visible scars were still left on her body. Little remnants of black vein attached to her skin, woke up in a fright and a horror, screaming, pleading with the party, "What have you done? What have you done?" And as you reconciled with Rhaenyra, Mr. Fiend, furious at Mullet, once again could not control his rage and just went all out on Mullet. Just blow after blow after blow. What did you do? What did you do? Mullet, guilty once more over choices that they thought were the right ones, couldn't get it right once more, and just accepted the punishment from Fiend. Once the rage and the confusion had all subsided, seeing Rhaenyra brought back, the five of you slowly made your way out to the entrance of the central location and looked outside to a cacophony of vines, trees, purple light, two moons above, neon blue rivers swirling by on the outer edges of the Academy of Arcana, seemingly the entire academy being transported to an unfamiliar place where this neon paint palette looks on to you. And the heavy, dense, rainforest-like visage of a place many of you have only ever read about, but never entered. Welcome to the Feywild. And as we start tonight's session, our almost 2 years long adventure, we are going to start with pure white. And as we pull back, the focus becomes a bit clear as the zoom comes out of the pure white to form a moon in the sky. And we go back more and more as stars are aligning the night sky. As that camera goes down at a downward angle from the moon, leaves start to pass by as the camera enters into a very thick forest. It's definitely nighttime. We're not too sure how late. The air is fairly humid, signifying it's probably in the summertime. Wisps of fairy fire and fireflies wisping around. And then we hear footsteps. Twigs breaking, branches swaying back as someone is running from something. And the footfalls are light. As we switch to this POV behind a little girl's shoulder, running furiously through the woods. Clothing on them seem a bit tattered, a bit ragged, like maybe they've been living in the same set of clothes for quite some time, surviving God knows what. This little girl cuts into a little bit of bushes and just holds there with this sort of black hair sort of matted on her face. And you see sort of hiding in this little sort of fern bush off the beaten path, 3 pairs of lights start to come into view. Orange glows kind of come by this damp, dewy forest with shades of blue and white radiant from the moon above. Where'd you go? I don't know. What'd you see last? I don't know, but I'm gonna get my coin back if that's the last thing I ever do. Think you might have gone this way. You see the tracks? Well, they just kind of end. Sit around, we'll find her. And these 3 sort of adult looking guards, some kind, start to spread out as the little girl hides and waits for them to disperse. Looking down, this little radiant rabbit starts to hop underneath your arms, and this little head kind of pokes up from under your armpit. The little girl says, no, stop. You're gonna look. They're gonna see you. Just wear this. This little tiny makeshift quilt that looks like it was made with love and care. But again, stains, some dirt on it, frayed at the edges. The little girl puts it over this radiant animal as the glow could signify and give away their position. I wait a little bit more. Okay, I think they're gone. Look, you're usually the one that's good with with directions. Where do we go next? Little radiant beam of fur coming out from the quilt. Okay, we don't have much time, okay? Just, you lead the way, I'll follow as usual, but we gotta go fast, okay? 1, 2, 3. Little girl takes off the blanket, puts it under her arm with a little slung over backpack, and they dart out of this little hidden patch of greenery they were hiding in. Ramira, need you to roll a stealth check, please.
Oh no, I'm so scared. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, I got a natural 20.
Bam!
Let's go.
So
There
it's
you
a 27.
So you sort of jut out and look out from these bushes, and the various sort of torchlight that you had seen walk by, you can visibly see them. There's one kind of diagonally out to the right, diagonally out to the left, and one not too far straight ahead from you. It's probably a good like 70 feet, so you can see the end of this forest you're in, kind of like a makeshift tree line. It's hard to see what's beyond that tree line, but you know you got to get past these 3 individuals. What do you want to do?
Okay, so it's like a 3-way fork. Is that what you're saying? Like one in the
Yeah.
front and then like a left and right? Am I able to like make a perception check?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right now you're kind of out of the clearing. This little radiant rabbit is kind of hopping beside you. The glow is fairly noticeable, but you can tell this creature is somehow sort of controlling the brightness of this radiant glow that comes out of them. So at times it's a bit bright, and sometimes it kind of shrinks down and becomes less.
So she's like running her hands through her hair like she does typically. And I rolled a, 22 for perception.
22. Okay. So looking out, the forest in general, think of like, there's parts of it that kind of remind you almost like of a rainforest, and other parts that look like Western interior, like pine wood. Almost like 2 different types of forests are kind of like mashed together. Like you look around, you see like tall Douglas fir, sort of pine trees, and that sort of smell is acclimatized to it. Yet there's a humidity in the air. There are fireflies sort of flying about. Some vines kind of jettison from the ground and are kind of around your feet. There's multiple paths kind of going through this forest. You were kind of on like a main trail ride, and you're trying to get off of the main ride. And then these 3 paths just kind of come out from in front of you. And you can kind of make a little bit through the forest line. There seems to be just, you can see little wisps through cracks of the trees. Like a patch of grass and a building of some kind. But it's kind of hard to see what it is exactly from this distance.
I think she'll probably run towards the building.
Okay. So there's a path straight ahead.
And she just looks like a little girl, right? She doesn't look like her changeling self.
No.
Okay. Since she's out of sight, she would probably change her features quickly and just kind of turn into somebody nondescript, where she has like maybe blonde hair and green eyes, and she doesn't look like how she had dark hair or any of that. Maybe she gives herself like a little bit of a tan, and then books it towards the building.
Okay. Now, do you want to book it towards the man and maybe try to just say like, I don't know who you're looking for, or you're going to try to like sneak around?
I think she's gonna still try to sneak around, and then worst case scenario, if he sees her, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So you kind of go towards that man in front of you. You go off the beaten path, sort of sticking to the trees and kind of trying to get out of sight. And yeah, with that stealth check, easily able to kind of maneuver around to sort of start to slink past the man. And the man in general just looks like, I don't know, late 40s, bit rotund in the stomach, like big, like chunky leather boots, leather gloves, scarf around the neck, and has just got the torch out and just looking around, looking at the ground, looking for any signs of anyone to make any noise. This radiant white rabbit hopping beside you. And you can see that the man is kind of near the end of the tree line and is kind of poking his head out and is looking around. And once you get sort of sidelined beside this man, you know that making a dart out of this tree line is probably going to see you. You need some sort of distraction to get him to look the other way.
Is there like any kind of things that I could throw maybe? Or she might honestly, in true Ramira form, she might just casually walk out into the open, because this is when she's little, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's just a kid, so she'd probably be like, haha, I'm very clever, I don't look like I used to look, and she might just casually, as quietly as possible, walk out.
Okay.
And tell the bunny to stay behind, because they saw the bunny with her, right?
At
or
this
I
point,
don't know.
Not sure. All you know is that you, before this moment, you saw a chance, an empty purse of some coins. You've been hungry for a little bit. This rabbit has been traveling with you for most of your life, but instinctively knows when to show up and when to stay hidden.
Okay.
It follows your commands very, very well.
Okay, so before she comes out of the brush looking like a different person, because is she around the age, like, is she around 7 of like what I'm thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Is okay, so she's just a little kid. Yeah, she like leans down to the bunny and goes, you just stay here, okay? You stay here. I'm gonna try to run away. I'll meet you back up here, okay? Okay, you're so good. You're so good. And she like pets the bunny and then goes, I hope this works. And then just walks out because she's 7 and she's dumb.
The bunny sort of hops off into the brush and you just kind of take a deep breath. You just walk out. You see the older man with the torch looking around, and you're just walking in plain sight. Okay. He sees you right away, and as you kind of start to come out of the tree line, his torch kind of looks over you and goes, Hey! Who's there? Don't move! Don't move!
And she doesn't. She moves and turns around. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I was just heading back to my mama.
Your mama? What are you doing out here so late?
Gathering. She's very sick.
Sick, brother. You didn't happen to see any, another little girl around here? Black hair, clothes a bit ripped?
Oh, no, but I will look for her, on my way home. Is your
Make
daughter?
a deception check.
Okay. Fuck. It's a 9.
You rolled a 17 on insight. As
damn it.
you start to say, like, I don't know, I'm just coming back to my mom. Just looks you up and down, and at this point, this transformed clothes, what do they look like? Are they
She can't transform clothes, so they're
Oh,
just
so
her
it's the
good
same
old clothes. And
So it looks at your fair hair,
yeah.
your skin, and then just starts to take a double take and starts to put the torch near to your clothes as they are identical
Mm-hmm.
to the girl that he is looking for.
As soon as if she recognizes that he knows, like, it's her, she would just bolt. Like, she would just book it.
Okay, so making a run for it.
Mm-hmm.
Make a dexterity check.
Oh, God.
As you just kind of just like, wait. I recognize those clothes, and you just, and you just book it. He's gonna try to swipe and grab you.
Oh, that's not even. That's a 12. What am I doing? Okay. That is. You said dexterity check.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dirty 20, baby.
So he goes in for a swipe, and your small little nimble body, you're able to and you just book it and just start running
Like a whippet.
out from this sort of lush green sort of area. The building that you're kind of seeing little snippets of kind of comes into view, and you realize you're in the outskirts of the village. You can see that there's this building kind of protruding from the forest area that you're coming into, almost like a backyard of sorts, like a courtyard. But as you look left and right, you can see there's like a road that goes this way, that goes that way. You start to see smatterings of homes and shops and things like that, roads, smokestacks coming out into the night sky. And you see kind of in front of you, maybe like a good 40 feet from where you are, you see the back of a building that seems to be 2 stories high, almost like a corner of a building, almost like an L shape. Various stairs, wooden stairs kind of going up, and various railings one at a time. The courtyard kind of has varied multicolored clothing kind of being draped on clothing lines to dry laundry. Sort of lanterns hanging down from each section of these rooms, various lights multicolored along the railings of yellows, blues, reds, greens kind of thing. A little bit festive. And then you only see there's only a couple people kind of hanging outside looking like they're having a smoke. And you see this fountain that's no water coming out of it. That's kind of this concrete basin that has sort of 2 dishes with a spire that comes up and a little mini one at the top, like a little mini bird bath. Various shrubbery kind of wrapping around the outer side of it. And as you're running, this man's like, "Hey, come back here!" And the 2 humans up at the top make a perception check.
Oh boy, I'm scared. Oh, okay. Okay. That's a 21.
21.
Who am I? I don't know who this
As
is.
you start rushing out towards more closer to the building, the 2 humans kind of looking off but you can kind of make them out of this distance now. They're female humans, but they're wearing kind of house coats. It looks like they're wearing corsets at the top and very elaborate gowns that kind of drape down past their ankles. Really well-designed jewelry, things like that. As you're running, is there anything you want to say to them as they kind of notice you and are kind of clocking and see this man running after you with the torch?
As she is running, she looks behind her and goes, "Please help me! Please help me!" And starts running as fast as she can to a door that she assumes goes up to their place.
Okay.
And starts, "Help me! Let me in! I'm small."
So as you're running, I'm gonna have you make one more dex check as the adult is gonna run up to you.
Oh boy, okay. Oh, that was good too. Who am I? 21.
21. So you are well ahead of this individual as he's just kind of starting to lose his breath, coughing a little bit, trying to chase up after you. Start to get to one of the staircases that's kind of going up. Help me! And this woman kind of starts to, you're looking back as you're saying this, help me! And you run into the thigh of this woman. He kind of knocks you down a bit. And you look up, and there's this authoritative woman sort of standing over top of you. This long white gown, kind of signifying, it's not like a well-dressed gown, but probably like a nightgown, like someone who's kind of got up for rest, with a little bit of a house coat over top, kind of thick and woolly, this sort of tan brown color. Wearing this strange sort of pillbox that's also white with a gold and silver trim on the top of it. And the gown itself, again, white, silver, filigree trim along the neckline and around the sides and the bottom of the dress. And these white leather gloves kind of reach up and pick you up, hold your hands up. And as the man kind of catches up with you, you kind of turn around as your back is against these woman's legs. And the woman, "Hello there, can I help you?" The older man's like, "Oh yeah, this little lady's caused us quite a bit of trouble. We're gonna have to bring her back to the village for some sentencing." The woman just kind of looks at this man up and down. kind of giving an instant impression of him with her eyes and her facial gestures. Looks down at you. Now, Missy, did you do something that was not very nice?
And she just shakes her head no.
Make a deception check.
Oh, no. Oh, that's not terrible. 18.
Okay. Look up here. No. Seems my little friend here seems to think otherwise. What sort of damages has been done here, might I ask, that such a little one could have caused so much of a stir? Such a big man like you. And this sort of commoner is like, well, we got like around like 150 gold stolen from us, and we want some peonages, and we want things to be set right. 150 gold, is that all? Fine. Come. Snaps her fingers, and one of the women that was sort of sitting up at one of the upper levels smoking a cigarette just kind of gently walks down, hands kind of put over the other. Yes, Lady Amara? This gentleman here apparently needs some reconciliation for some funds lost. Apparently they can't handle a little girl. Might want to pay them to get some proper lessons on guarding or fencing or whatever it is that they could defend themselves from little children. And then the little girl the woman kind of puts into her night coat and puts up a leather pouch with some like heavy coinage inside. Hands it over to Lady Amara. Takes it in her white gloves. There. Believe that should cover it, my good man? Puts it in his hands. Well, my men are also out here. We've been out here for quite some time. I don't know if this is... I understand, dear. You've been out here all night. It's no problem at all. Call your friends over. We'll give you some hot tea and some other services on the house. How does that sound? The older man kind of looks up at the two other women kind of hanging out on the corner. Just gives a wave. That would be mighty nice of you. Yes. Brian! Roger! Come on out. We've got a bit of fun for us. Everything's fine. And the other two gentlemen kind of coming out of the tree line, the brush, start to come out. They're like, oh, what? You found her? The two little orange glows coming out from the night. They reconvene. Yes, just follow upstairs and the ladies will take care of you. All right. You're lucky this time, little girl. You're lucky you've got friends in high places. And the older man just kind of scrunches your white hair as it just like falls all over your face. All right, let's go have a good time, lads. Just starts to walk up the stairs. Eventually going up to that second level inside with the two women following him.
I imagine she has like a short white blonde bob happening, like a small child, like strawberry blonde kid who's like, what, me? I would never. And she waits for them to like be out of sight and then lets go of Lady Amara and then retrieves the baggie of gold that she has. And she hands it over to her and then steps back like, don't hurt me. I will give you the money. And then kind of steps back and goes to walk into the forest.
No. Wait there, child. Don't. Just hold on there. Come. You're not going. She kind of like gets down on her knees to be at your eye level. You're not going back in there now, are you?
You see that as like she says that she was about to produce like 2 or 3 more gold that she had separated out from the 150. And then it's like, oh, you couldn't tell. Okay. And then puts the gold back in her like waistband. And then kind of just shrugs because she doesn't talk at this point.
You can take this back if you want. I've got plenty of money, child.
And she does. She takes it back.
Do you have any friends or family?
You see her eyes like open and she runs back to get the rabbit.
And as you run back to the tree line, she's just kind of like sitting there, and you quickly come back with the quilt over the sort of like dulled radiant glow underneath. What you've got there, child?
And she just holds it up and the rabbit's legs are like hanging underneath it.
She kind of just takes a corner of the quilt, lifts it up as this sort of dull light sort of shines on at her. That is an interesting thing. This is the family I referred to.
And she just nods yes.
I have a few pets inside myself that I consider more of a family than the actual dumbass family that I have. I get it. Is home close for you, or?
And she just looks back at the forest again and nods.
Ah. One with nature, eh? When's the last time you had a hot drink and a hot bath and a nice warm bed?
And you can see she's thinking for a little bit, and then she just kind of shrugs and shakes her head no.
Well, just so happens that this rundown building over here has plenty of that and more. Now, you can go back to your forest, if you like. I will not stop you. But I guarantee you, take it from me, who knows a thing or two about a thing or two, that life doesn't have much of a long lifespan. It's got a bit of an expiration date on it.
She looks back at the forest and kind of like knowingly nods and looks back to Lydia Mara and puts the gold back in her hands and then holds on to her sleeve.
Very well. Come. We'll keep you safe, child. And she starts to like drape her coat kind of over you, trying to keep you warm. You have the rabbit kind of hidden under a quilt. Start to walk up the stairs, and with her sort of house coat draped over you, says, "Oh, and don't worry about those 3 men. The things will be ours soon enough, and they'll be wake up at the other edge of town." And as she starts to come up the first flight of stairs, go on in. And she gestures for you to open the door.
And she does.
Okay. As you open that door, you open up the door, and infinite blackness is open to you. And it's kind of shocking to open a door to a building and it's just darkness everywhere.
Mm.
And you hear echoes coming out of the room. No! Ramiro? Echoes of an event happening that seems way far off. But the voices sound familiar to you. And this sense of worry kind of comes over you. And you look up, and Lady Amara looks down at you. Yes, I know, the way forward can be a bit treacherous. Getting used to new things is scary, but you can't give up now, kid. You've got a bright future ahead of you.
She just snuggles her little bunny friend closer and then kind of just nods and a little nervously and hesitantly, but kind of walks into the doorway.
And as you look up, Put that radiant rabbit under your arm. You look down at your ankles and this oozing black mucus starts to wrap around your ankles. You get the rabbit holding onto it. Lady Omar still there. It's all right, child. I'm here. And the ooze starts to creep up your shin and go up past your knee. Your breathing gets a bit more intense and heavier. The rabbit underneath your arm. And the feeling starts to come over you as your legs, now fully submerged in this black ichor, forces itself to... Your legs start to move one at a time, independently from you moving them. Soon as the visage of Lady Amara behind you, that doorway becoming smaller and smaller, the rabbit underneath your arm. Look behind you as the door is about to close. And you just reveal the quilt from the rabbit as the radiant light just burns through the entire room all at once. And then you open your eyes. So strange over you, the bottom of the Mage Tower, around you, the black veins sort of creeping up your arm, coming back down into you as you awake. Fast forward about 10-15 minutes or so, as we come now to where we left off. Mr. Strange having done the resurrection spell onto Ramira, wounds still visible. You look outside. Vibrant purples, neon blues, 2 twin moons above. Rainforest-like humidity and all various cacophony of greenery. Vines and shrubs creeping up on the outer layers of the outer outlines of the academy. What would you all like to do?
I would imagine, well, last time we left off, Fiend was still holding Ramira, right?
Correct.
She is still kind of shaken up and whatnot, and her hands are still literally shaking, and the necklace is like rattling in her hand as she's like working to hold on to it. And she looks horrible. She's back up to her full HP as per the spell, but she looks awful. And she's struggling to kind of move around in Fiend's arms, and she looks up at him, and she just says, "I'm so tired. I'm so tired."
Fiend just puts his fingers right here and pulls downward.
She doesn't resist and kind of just like flops in closer. "You're not gonna go away though, right? You're gonna stay here?"
"I'll be right here when you wake up."
Okay. And she kind of holds on to like either like his lapel or his sleeves like she usually does. So she's got like one death clench on the necklace, literal death clench on the necklace, and one death clench on like his shirt somewhere, and then kind of just falls to sleep.
Well, kind of looking over and seeing now very tired Ramira sound asleep. There's a Mage Tower that we could barricade. I think everybody's looking. I think everyone's looking a little worse for wear.
We need a break.
Yes. I've never been through 3 combats before.
Can I roll a perception check to see if
Yeah.
I can? I want to see if Cheryl knows the slip, because that was uncommon for Fiend. Let's see. Well, it's okay. It's not the greatest. Would
that be perception or insight?
Insight.
Oh,
Oh shit.
yay.
Insight.
That's better for me.
I think Oh, okay. Well,
Unnatural 20.
18.
It's up to Fiend.
Oh, do I have to roll a deception check?
If you don't want them to kind of get a crack under your Fiend face armor, yeah.
Face armor. That's called masking.
You guys got it.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
I rolled a 4.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
So what? So Fiend, kind of describe the subtext behind that gesture. I guess.
He just he's tired, so he forgot that he wasn't supposed to talk about the first combat he was in, which was with the guards at the prison, and all the spell slots, all of his high level spell slots that he wasted. And then the second combat, he never casted Disintegrate or Prismatic Spray or any of his higher level spells. And then the third combat, he was using only third level spells. And then the fourth combat, he was using very, very low level spell slots. So he just forgot entirely even about the tree combat by now.
You see
with everything
Farrell
that's
kind
going
of
on.
counting on her fingers.
He just 4, 3 combat. 3. That's right. Yes. Is there like a cracked open wall that leads out into the forest from where we're at?
Yeah. So if you recall from being in the Academy of Arcana, when you entered through that radiant sphere, the inside was essentially like the entire complex, the entire academy was like a huge explosion took place.
Yeah.
And most of it was sort of frozen in place in debris and chunks of rooms. The Mage Tower itself is fairly still intact. So there's that open door, that doorway, sort of front doorway, and it was kind of blown open, but there are no holes in the walls necessarily. The windows are kind of open, the glass was shattered, so the fog that was emanating last session was kind of seeping through the windows and through the front door, but there are no holes in the walls necessarily.
Okay. Do I know where we are?
That's a good question.
Speaking like in the Feywild?
Yeah, well, just do I know we're in the Feywild?
Most of you, from what I understand, have either been told about the Feywild or studied it, have an idea of it. It's kind of one of those things where, like, I've never been to Hawaii, but if you were to just suddenly transport me to Hawaii, and I woke and I was like, okay, this is either Hawaii or Thailand or Southeast Asia.
I'm on an island.
Are we in a Venice?
Like, there's,
You wish.
you know, it's one of those things where you don't definitively know where you are, but
Does the air here like feel different?
yes, everything here feels different.
It's really humid.
Yeah, currently it is fairly
like?
humid, kind of like the rainforest sort of humidity in here. There's big purple lights kind of illuminating the outside part of the tower you're in. So suffice it to say, you can make a general intelligence check to kind of maybe even signify like where in the Feywild you might be, but
19 plus 1, dirty 20.
19 plus 1. So putting the pieces together, leading to this moment, going that travel that you took when you first entered to the Academy complex, getting to the Mage Tower, that fog rolling around you, those multicolored lights bursting around your feet like mini bursts of a thundercloud, your emotions getting ramped up with each step. Emotions still feeling heightened, feeling like you had like 5 cups of cold brew and you're just sort of jittering. The environment around you is affecting you. And it's a bit more noticeable now than just a simple fog rolling down past your legs. You don't know where in the Feywild you could be, but the signs are pointing to it.
Mr. Fiend walks over to the window, like kind of a little bit away from the party, as they're kind of like doing the the head tilt on what he just said last.
Farrell's counting on her fingers and kind of is taking tabs of what she's seeing Fiend use. It was like,
Tarek just narrows his eyes and looks at you, kind of raising an eyebrow.
Farrell's just gonna glance over.
knowingly.
That's weird, right? Like that was weird, right?
Yes.
All right.
Sir Strange?
Strange isn't there to notice or to care. They're in the distance.
Yep.
Yeah, as I get over to one of the windows, I kind of like look out it and see where we are. I'm assuming we're in the Feywild, and I look down at Ramir to make sure she's sleeping, and then look back up and out the window and go, "All right, Loki, I'm here. Do your part."
Okay. So make a perception check as you look out the window there.
That is an 11.
An 11. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you look outside, it's twilight.
Mm.
But even twilight is darker and colder than a night you've slept through in the comforts of your own home. The black gaps in the trees watch you, drooling with hunger. You avert your eyes instinctively, knowing that the longer you stare into that darkness, the deeper it could worm its way through your skin. You look up, crimson clouds roll overhead. You are struck with just an innate fear that you're all too familiar with. And it's that fear you felt as a child when you realized for the first time that your parents could make mistakes. It's that fear of knowing that there is no longer a solid ground beneath your feet. It's the fear of craning your neck up to see the top of a mountain that is bigger than anything you could have accomplished in your life. A mountain that will stand for millions and millions of years before it, too, is ground to dust. It's the fear you will feel one day when your death no longer becomes abstract. And you know that you are fragile. You know the world doesn't care. And then the clouds pass. The sky clears. You forget that fear for one more day.
I'm just going to lean up against a wall somewhere and like sit down and nod off.
I think looking over, seeing he's not enough, just be like, I'll take watch. I'll take first watch.
We should check on Strange.
I'll do so.
What do you want me to check on Strange?
You also.
You need rest.
It's fine. She'll kind of get a little smile like in the corner of her mouth. I think you need it. You weren't quite yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I don't know what came over me, but it was not good. I did not like that. Reminded me of, well, perhaps more like how I was when we first met.
Oh, you mean the situation of us standing somewhere safe with a box? Just was all a little too familiar.
Yeah. Seems like this is the second time you've snapped me out of making a bad decision. This gives you a smile.
Someday you can pay me back for it. For now,
I'll start a tab.
Oh, great. Perfect. I'll bill you for it.
I'm sure you will.
Get some sleep. And she'll kind of like pat you on the shoulder, like really gently. Get some rest.
I'll take second watch, okay?
Okay. I'll wake you up in a little bit then.
All right. And he'll just nod and he'll just go lay down.
Okay.
Think about things.
Laying down, everyone going to sleep for a long rest, I take it.
Yep. Farrell
Yes.
will walk over to Sir Strange at some point during the watch if they don't come back. If it's been like a while, if Farrell's like, cool, I think they've had their time now. I'm going to go bother them. Cheide, I don't know if they come back at all. That's more on you.
Strange hasn't really traveled far off. They're wandering around, keeping a distance from everyone, but not far enough to where you don't see them.
I think eventually, looking over, making sure Fiend, Tremere, Tarek sound asleep, comfortable as best I can, Farrell will approach you. So strange.
Hello, Farrell.
Are you all right?
Well, never been good with lying, so no, I'm not.
Would you like to talk about it?
I don't know what to feel. I believe I faltered.
With that, Farrell's eyes will kind of widen for a second, then grow soft. Is this you invoking a promise? Strange.
To bring Ramira back, a price had to be paid. Strange is sort of struggling to try and explain what's happening with them, but they're trying their best, and you can tell by the furrowing of their eyebrows as they stare at the ground. There's two of me now.
Farrell will look you up and down. I see one.
Inside there is another.
Here?
Can I, Kevin, are the gems still there on their wrists?
You look up to your wrists, and that sort of crystalline formation that was seemingly coming up your wrists after you had drank in that vial, you look down your wrist, and they're not there anymore.
Well, I heard a voice, and I feel uneasy.
Farrell's mind doesn't immediately go to there's something else that could be in your head. Is it Fraz or Mammon?
No, it's another. But
Another.
I don't have a name for it yet, but I think I'll call him Oswick.
Oswick. Why Oswick?
Oswick was the name I had when I was still fighting alongside Gloomwing. Oswick was the name I had when I faked my humanity.
Faked your humanity or hoped that it would be true? I don't think humanity is something you can exactly fake. I think it's something you gain. And to be honest, I think most of us would find you more human than a lot of ourselves. You fail, you falter, you make bad decisions, you're selfish. But at the end of the day, you made a choice. I think that speaks to your humanity volumes.
Well, I don't know much anymore. And honestly, seeing as this is my home, I'm surprised it doesn't quite feel like home at all. It's empty.
I don't know what home is. I think home is people I think it's the people you bring into your life. And that was obvious in your choice when it came to Ramirez. So do you think you faltered? Or are you just scared of what she'll say?
I'm scared of what she'll say, but I don't have any regrets for what I did. I promised I would never let go, and I kept true to that.
Well, then until I deem it so that you faltered, I will not fulfill that promise to you. Attack her, or if that voice in your head starts telling you to do things, we'll have a different conversation. But I think you're more human now than I've seen you ever be. And I'm pretty sure you love her a lot more than you originally told me, so. You don't have to answer me. Just something I've noticed.
I'll keep you updated.
Oh, please do.
On Strange is just like no, on me, not no.
Sure.
So, okay.
Strange. What do I call you?
Just call me Strange. I made my decision. I'm a Frostbreaker, right? And that's what you know me as. And that's what I'd rather die as.
Because that's what you are.
I suppose you're right. Well.
It takes a lot of humanity to not regret decisions once you've made them. Believe me, I would know something about that. And she's probably going to be upset. She's going to be angry. But I think you know that.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
But you are more human now than I've ever seen you. And I think in time, and give her time, she'll see that. She's very smart. If she can talk me out of making stupid decisions, I mean, that's maybe some point she'll forgive you.
Is it strange if I'm okay with her not ever forgiving me?
No. Because I think that's you setting yourself up just in case it doesn't work out.
I've lived a life filled with regret. But I don't regret this. I don't regret what I've done.
Then you've done a good job.
My chest hurts.
Yeah, that happens. How's your head?
Well, does Strange sense anything off? Like, no, everything just seems normal right now, Kevin. It's just like...
Concerning what specifically?
The voice, the Oswick.
Oswick. As soon as you sort of had this conversation with Farrell, and you said, I think I'm going to call it Oswick. Just this voice in your head sort of etches out. Oswick.
As it happens, Strange just whispers to themselves, friend, you've got to change your voice. I can't have that. Like, maybe, like, you know, I don't know if you can control. Strange is doing nothing to hide this from Farrell. Like, you can't just be like, you know, you might make me, like, freak out sometimes, Oswick.
Oh.
I don't want that.
Yeah, we can work on it. If you just maybe take some vocal exercises to maybe where you don't sound like respectfully a dying cat.
Feral, this is Feral's face the entire time. It's just.
You hear Oswick reply to you.
What voice shall I imitate for you?
Huh. You know, I never usually have a choice. So I think... Do you remember the Allfather's voice?
Yes.
At that, Feral starts giggling.
There we go. Perfect. We'll go with that.
Did you just tell the voice in your head to speak like Odin?
Well, the Allfather's never given me much of a choice. So it's only fitting that... Well, Oswick has that voice.
Are you sure it's wise to tell people about us?
It's better that they know. Besides, if you're in me, you might as well know that I'm terrible at lying.
Yeah, you're not great.
Boy.
Ooh, we're gonna have to work on that, but I'll take that for now.
So, once again, more human now than ever. I'm guessing we're Feywild?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Well, that's great.
it's fine. It's not as, like, crazy as I thought it would be.
Oh, please don't jinx. How? Oh.
It's so strange to look. Can I stare? Is there a forest nearby? Is there anything strange you can stare at?
You stare at a
There
forest.
goes the long rest.
I swear to God. I swear to Loki.
As you kind of look out the front entrance of the Mage Tower, and you can start to see the Feywild kind of creeping in. You can see kind of on the outskirts of... I'm trying to explain this right. Like the outer rim of the land mass that the Academy was situated on. There's a clear line of like the grass work and stone and dirt that the Academy was situated on. And at some point, the environment from Asgard just sort of ends, like a fairly clear line, and the Feywild begins with like shrubbery and vines kind of creeping out over it, almost looking like this place has been here for a while, for vegetation and things to start to like peer over and growing on top of it.
Got it. Okay.
And then beyond that outline, there's just like rainforest kind of surrounding this whole entire academy.
I hate it here. I already hate it here.
Well, I'm sure with all of us together, we'll be fine. For the most part.
Ramira?
I'm just like waiting until after they're done, and then I have
Okay.
some dream things. Yeah.
Well, if anything, I'm good to go. See, when I accepted Oswick into me, I don't need a rest. I'm ready to go.
Oh, well, Tarek's next watch. I'm not going to tell anybody about our promise. That's for you to decide.
That's fine. You know, it'd be quite the show if one of us stabs each other and just out of the blue. I think it'd be very entertaining.
I mean, it would be dramatic. I think Ramiro would probably kill me if I did so to you. But if you stab her first, you know, then she might feel a little differently.
That's fair. Well, if anything, when you go take your rest, I think it's good for me to just take shift for the entire time since I know this layout. At least I should better than most.
Okay. And when you need to talk about the voice in your head, or if things are just too much of a load to bear on your own. I may not be the strongest individual, but my shoulders are broad and can carry the weight.
I'll keep that in mind.
Try not to falter too hard. Okay. With that, she'll turn with a little smile.
Oh, Mr. Strange will say, "Oh, Farrell. Just because I have a feeling of how the Feywild can be. You know that armor that was given to you by the woman that didn't pay us at all?
Oh, she still didn't pay us, and now she's dead. Oh, yes, I'll put the armor on when yes. Oh,
now you know what it feels like.
Farrell's just like extremely frustrated. Now she's like, God damn it! Thank you, Mr. Strange. I appreciate it.
No
We'll
worries.
walk off and go, and after a while, we'll gently shake Tarek. It's just me. Don't freak out.
Hey.
It's your watch.
You okay?
Yes.
Very convincing.
Yeah. I just am a little worried that we left a couple of people back on Asgard, but
No, we didn't get much of a choice, did we?
Yeah, we left the Dryads, we left the Chewingas, the Dryad, and Salil, and Thayer back.
Yeah.
Okay, but at least they're safe though.
You know
They're
the whole
safe
thing about
and
bringing
they're home.
Hathawin back to the Feywild and all that?
Dunzo, baby. But it's okay because they are safe in our home and we can go back to them.
Totally. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Kevin.
Heaven, gosh,
Kevin.
dang it.
Because time totally doesn't shift in the Feywild differently than it does.
Yeah, but we
Sure.
don't know that yet.
Not
Or
yet.
do we? Do we know that?
I don't think that was something that was.
Gonna be walking through that evolution machine in X-Men Evolution. The other side 100 years
I guess
later.
it depends on. Sir Strange had kind of mentioned that it's weird here. Back when we had the conversation previously,
Was
I guess-
time specifically mentioned though?
I don't recall. I don't.
No?
believe so.
Okay.
No,
I
I
guess
don't
it would
think so.
depend on what we've all read, because Fiend was the only one to roll an intelligence check at the moment for what
Yeah.
we got in the wild.
I might roll for it in a bit. I probably would know at least.
I did
Well,
steal a
alright.
book.
You did steal a book though, so
2 books.
Fair enough.
no, but I'm just a little concerned that we left people back on Asgard that may not know. I've kind of abandoned them once before. I kind of had said I wouldn't do that anymore, so this is a little awkward.
Yeah. I said we didn't get much of a choice to come here. We'll get back as soon as we possibly can. Don't be too
God,
hard on yourself.
they're gonna wait again for me, or not.
Yeah.
I think at that moment, Farrell's gonna kind of like struggle, and I don't know which is worse.
It'll be fine. Trust me.
Sir
Okay.
Strange is
How are
taking
they?
an entire watch, just so you're aware. They do not
Rest.
need to. They don't need to rest currently. They're okay.
Oh. Strange.
Yes, they are.
But, you know what? I didn't think about that before I said it.
I'm just gonna sit down.
Right. I'll
Oh,
take a watch. You rest.
before you go. And she's kind of like settling and snugging up against the wall, just like arms crossed.
Mm.
I hope I didn't hurt your feelings too much.
No. You were right. I mean, I'm sure Nakari would be disappointed to see if I had truly gone back to my old ways. I'm sure you would be too.
She would have kicked your ass. I would have kicked your ass.
You would have tried. Just gives you a smile.
Oh, don't tempt me.
Why not?
Because I'd win, obviously.
Really? You think
Yeah.
so?
I do.
Uh-huh.
not all of us need the power of a god to kick somebody else's ass.
Oh, okay. All right. I can put the hammer down and not use any spells and still win. Bad.
Right. I'll keep
One
that
day
in mind for
we'll
later.
Kevin, if you could stop rolling off screen, that would be awesome.
I hate it. I was trying to ignore it.
Taking a while to get to sleep. I'm just doing my part.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Anyway, we'll deal with that another time.
Mm-hmm.
For
Of
now,
course.
you
Right.
rest.
I will do so.
Yeah.
Okay. So with everyone getting down to bed for the evening, Ramira, you want to do something?
Yeah, at this point, I guess I don't know where she's at in the context of things. I think John, you just explained that he kind of just like hunkered down and was like, well, she's not letting go. So two best friends take an existential dread nap. And she is kind of rustling in her sleep. And from her point of view, she is running still. She's no longer in that void, but she's booking it. And as she is dreaming of her little feet, she is booking it and she's running through a crowd. And from her point of view, she looks back and there is a kind of tall, lean boy who has like dark hair and bronze skin. And they're smiling and laughing and giggling as they're like running through. And you can hear a similar old man from sometime somewhere yelling after them, like, "You kids!" And then it snaps forward a little bit and she's running again, but she's running through like a cornfield or a farm, some kind of field in a farm. And she is completely in a different place. She's older. She's no longer like in her preteen. She's now like 16, 17. And she just beefs it on a rock and twists her ankle and it's just full face of dirt, screeching through the dirt kind of thing. And then she sits there and she still isn't crying, but she's in so much pain. And a large orc man comes over, lumbering over and picks her up. And it's kind of a similar experience of her being scooped up as a tiny girl.
So the dream kind of mirroring what the real world is doing.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what she is dreaming and viewing as she wakes up whenever they wake up. Except for this time she's with her best friend.
Oh. So as that experience is happening in your deep sleep, or Tarek, you wanted to say something?
I did have a couple of things I wanted to do during my watch, if that's okay.
All right, well, I believe right now Farrell is on watch, correct? Or who's first watch?
I am on watch, I believe.
I took first watch as I was walking around talking to Sir Strange.
Right.
And then it was Tarek's watch.
Okay,
Yeah.
So before you go to sleep,
Okay.
watch,
Okay.
you need to make a perception check.
Sure. Rolling perception. Okay. Hold on. That was 15 plus 8.
15 plus 8. Okay, so as everyone kind of gets a very well-earned rest from a very heavy 24 hours, you sort of sit up with your scimitars, just looking around at the stone inlaid work with that sort of big circle in the middle and those rampway stages that were like kind of surrounding the ritual. The mages on the ground, Salvia lying there. Just going over like, what the fuck do we gotta do now? But everyone's here, whatever it is, you'll face it together. And then you hear some crackling outside.
So get up and walk over. Both flame blades in hand. She's not taking any chances, especially here, as this is a different plane and she knows not much of anything here. I'll kind of peek and see if she can see what it is.
So you take a peek outside, roll a stealth check.
Rolling a stealth check. That is a 15.
15.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're looking outside, you heard some scratches, some cracking of twigs. You look outside, and this is the first time you've kind of fully put your head outside since all this happened. And again, bright purple light jettisoning out of the forest tree line, bright blue water kind of coming down from that edge line of the academy, meeting Feywild, peering in, going towards the forest. All of the dilapidated and broken pieces of the entire academy are now situated on the ground. Anything that was floating, anything that was cracked and ripped apart, just all fallen on the ground in various parts. Some of the buildings are intact, some of them kind of ripped to shreds. A third of it still intact, but the other half sort of fallen over on the side. And you make out various lingering members of the academy. None of them shadows, but a couple that are in various poses, frozen in time. One person on the ground reaching out, another one doing this, a couple on the ground. And with that perception check, you can see that their entire bodies are warped, wrapped in vines and warped arbutus wood, seemingly entrenched and inlaid into the ground underneath their feet.
What's the closest one I could go to?
Closest one you can go to is one of the teachers.
Okay.
That looked like they were wearing kind of the more ceremonial robes that give them a rank. That's just probably like 20 feet away from the tower.
Sure.
And you can kind of see him sort of knees on the ground, hand on the ground, and his hand is up like this. And he's holding what look to be letters.
Okay. Seeing him kind of surveying around, seeing which ones might be interesting. I will go to that one.
Okay.
And I'm going to approach kind of slowly, just in case there's something in the ground around him. I don't think there is, but just as a precautionary, kind of looking around.
Yeah, make another perception check.
Okay. Oh, I almost dropped my dice. That one's just a 12.
12. Looking around, there is an eerie silence. You hear the creaking and the chittering of bugs and plant life and birds and many, many other creatures echoing like a rainforest would. There's a weird kind of tension as you're kind of coming out from the safety of the tower. You're in the open. Anything from beyond that tree line could be looking at you right now and you would have no idea.
Yep.
But you look down to the ground. Nothing looks dangerous. The grass and the stonework very much is still what was left behind from Asgard.
Okay. I'm going to approach. Are they frozen or is it just moving very slowly?
Their bodies are sort of frozen in place.
Okay.
They're not statues of stone, but imagine like a statue wrapped in vine and warped arbutus.
Okay.
And the vine work, if you look closely enough with that high perception, is like slowly warping around it.
I'm going to approach. I'm going to keep one flame blade in hand and lower the other. That way I have a free hand. I'll keep the scimitar since it is an actual like physical object, since that one's an object. And keep that one at the ready. I just want to very gently pluck those letters from his hand.
All right, make a strength check.
Ooh, strength. I am not good at that. Oh, please be decent. Okay, that was a 15. It was a 16 minus 1.
Okay, so you go in there and you think you can just kind of pluck them out, but the grip is tight. And the paper is sort of warped around the hold that this person had on it. You kind of look at the letter a bit. There's a wax seal. There's about 3 to 4 of them. This elaborate wax seal that's purple with a W on it. You pull out of his hands, holding the parchment letters. None of them are opened. The wax seals are all intact. You got them.
I'm gonna break the first one open.
Okay.
Break the first seal. Also, I'm gonna be honest. Had I built that strength check, I was gonna cut off his hand.
Also a good option. Okay, so you go to break the seal.
Yep.
Open it up.
Yep.
There's a letter inside.
Is it something I can read?
Yes. It's
Oh.
uncommon.
Oh. That's a little odd. She's just gonna scan through it.
Scan
see what
through
it's
it.
got. Mhm.
Reading this letter, the words jump out at you and immediately wrap around your heart. The words speak out to you as you read them to yourself. My most dearest Jacob, know that in the spring, my love for you has bloomed. In the summer, my heart blazes with the heat of the sun. In the autumn, I am thankful to the stars that I have found you. And in the winter, I shall hibernate for months rather than spend a single moment without you by my side. I worry, though, that your father's death must weigh heavily upon your heart. Come to the overgrown chapel in the woods, where 14 thieves hang, and you will hear the music that dead men sing. The end is not the end. With love, your little jackrabbit, Einhard. And with that, Ivy, need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Bet!
God damn it, we couldn't just have a
What?
watch.
What? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, shit. That's nat 20. It's fine. It's fine.
The emotional truth of this letter begins to pull you. In what direction you're not sure, but it's like this magnetic force seemingly is drawing you somewhere. And for a moment, your body became light as a feather, your feet almost lifting off the ground, and you stopped. Before you could finish the leather entirely, you stopped reading it as you felt that happening to you. And then you stopped.
Is the handwriting on the other 3 leathers I got the same?
They're all sealed.
Like, are they addressed on the outside? I guess I should have specified.
They're blank envelopes with a seal on it.
Okay, feeling that, knowing that that was not the correct feeling, I'll close the leather and put it in my pocket. And then remember, I have another leather in that pocket that was Mullet's, or the poet's. And I'll take that out because I realize I still have this poet's writing in my pocket. I never opened that leather.
So refresh my memory, where is this from?
I took the leather from the poet's room when I was reading her tome and everything else. There was a leather I took. I don't know what was on it. I never opened it.
Right.
I just pocketed it.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the other leathers in, while you're looking for that. I'm gonna put the other leathers in my pocket. I'm gonna look at those later once I've had a little bit more sleep and feel I can focus.
Okay, I got the letter.
Okay, cool. I'm going to put the other letters so they're still sealed and the one that I opened in my pocket because I feel I need a little bit more rest until I decide to deal with those issues, and open the one that I got from the poet because I realized, oh, that's still in my pocket. Oh, let's look at that real quickly now that all of that has transpired.
Okay. So reading this letter that was in the dressing room of Dahlia Sarenraid.
Yes.
From our fun little bullet in time theater murder mystery.
Yes.
You open up this wax sealed letter that has a blackened wax seal with a D on it. And this letter reads, "My dearest Revna, times are dark and I know little or what lies in store for me. The city crows are gaining power amongst the wild folk. Only last week they murdered Professor Fabinak in his own arcanum. How they could have caught him so unawares is sheer mastery to me, but it fades ill for the rest of us. I fear tonight will be my last reading. Paulus caught me looking over the old tome. He wouldn't normally object to a little arcane demonstration, but what I have I have something a bit more in mind. The mood swings have returned. I spend entire nights walking the dim streets as a lamb awaiting the cut of the butcher. I feel that despair herself pursues me. Who could guess it? The most celebrated person in the north would sooner dash herself against the riverbed than live. I fear there is no escape. The fourth spell should do. A fold in time. A wave that crashes and rails upon itself for eons immemorial. If I am to die, then this final act, this last poem, will be my eternal living monument. And the souls encased within, my pallbearers evermore. We all shall be entombed in time itself, like Asgard of old. I know you will grieve me. I would say do not, but in truth I wish you to. Remember me, sister. With ageless love, Dahlia Sarenraid.
I think Farrell's reading this. I take it a little more to heart than I did the previous one. Because this speaks volumes as I have a similar-esque leather in my bag. And I think that is what hits harder than the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of holds back a little gasp as she's reading it. Will respectfully fold it back up and put it back in her pocket. And then take a quick glance around. Kind of make sure nothing has moved or there's nothing. And then go back in.
Okay.
And finish the rest of my watch. I think a heavier weight on her mind for when she goes and wakes up Tarek. And they have their little banter back and forth. And she'll mention as Tarek is about to go take his watch about the people. Just for your information, just watch out for the people.
People.
So there's not really people. It's more of people being killed by vines and grass and everything outside. Just be prepared for that. If you see them, I'm pretty sure it's already too late.
Right. Okay. I will keep that in mind.
Okay.
Thank you for the warning.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good rest.
Thank
Good
you.
night, Farrell.
Good night, Tarek. She will take her rest. I think it takes her a while to fall asleep. There's a lot of things that are on her mind. She's read a lot of words. But she'll sleep.
But do you get a pizza party after you're done reading all those words?
Management says no.
Screw management.
Okay, so Tarek,
Yeah.
as Pharaoh lays down, it is your turn for the watch.
Yeah. So, is Strange around currently? Where's Strange?
They're all
located?
sort of sleeping within the vicinity of this.
So I know Strange is awake. I was informed that Strange is around. someone or where they're at.
I don't sleep. Strange is just first day home.
Can that be your symbiote voice?
Stranger's like up on some stone, just
Now, I know I'm not a person.
It's just like,
Your head.
what's going on, Oswick? Well, I might add that this is a strange, peculiar situation that we might find ourselves in. Can we cannot do that? I think I'm okay with Odin instead.
Yeah.
That'll be your downfall.
I love it.
Anyway, Tarek, yes. Sir Strange is in that main chamber with you, seemingly asleep.
Nope. They're awake.
I haven't. Strange isn't sleeping because Strange
Yeah.
can't right now.
Okay, so Sir Strange is not sleeping. We'll probably not get the benefits of a long rest at this point.
Yeah. With that, yeah, being informed by Farrell that they're staying awake, Tarek will kind of just slowly make their way over, giving them their space, but just kind of making himself known. Strange. Farrell informed me you'll be joining me for my watch. Not taking a rest yourself.
I don't really need it.
We all need rest, Strange.
Well, I suppose so, but... And Strange pauses for a second.
Something on your mind?
Strange thinks of Oswick. I'm just not tired. That's all.
Are they being truthful or are they lying? Because I will
that
make a
they're
perception
fine.
check if you are. Yeah.
Strange is lying.
Okay, cool. Would
So
Tarek
you
be able to
make an
tell that, or
insight.
do you want me to?
Well, you can make an insight against
yeah.
Sir Strange's deception.
Sure. Ooh. How's that deception looking? 13. 17 plus 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Tarek kind of has that. Just that I don't need to rest. And it's like, right, sure. Strange. I know things are difficult right now. I know you have a history with this place. And many things have taken place in the last 24 hours. But you can't hold yourself accountable for any of that. No more than the rest of us. If there's, I don't know, perhaps guilt keeping you awake, something on your mind, if you wish to talk about it, you can. But you shouldn't let that keep you from resting. Like I said, you know more about this place than the rest of us. We'll need you.
Tarek. When you saw your family that one time, how did it feel?
It was... Tarek's a little taken aback by that question. It was one of the most amazing feelings I've ever had. I've always looked for them. Always wondered if they even existed still. I had no memory of them. But then I found them. I was able to speak to Nakari, and now all I want is to see them again. But I know I have a duty here first. Once this is over, I will see them. Once we return to Asgard.
We will. I'm just afraid that we're here and it's not what I thought it would be. I would have, for so long, I wanted to find home. And with Gloomwing telling me that this is it, maybe home isn't what I thought it would be. And Strange looks down and glances over at the rest of the Frostbreakers. Maybe it was closer than I thought.
Sometimes it's not about the family you're born to, but the family that chooses you.
Yeah. Well, we'll get through this.
We will. Absolutely. Together. All of us.
Strange pauses for a moment. All of us.
All of us.
Strange at hearing that. Yep. Oh.
All right, Strange.
Yeah. Hey,
Making
Tarek.
a weird face.
When Odin calls you boy, how does that make you feel?
I
Just want to see if we relate.
I'm sorry. What?
You know what?
Relate to what?
Just the question is, when
Strange,
Odin
you've
goes
been
up.
acting very weird since you brought Mara back. What happened with that, by the way? How?
Oh, right. So, if one of me wasn't enough, there are two of me now, which is the price I had to pay. And long story.
Slow down. Price. The whole two of you thing confusing. Price? What price?
Well,
Strange. What did you do?
I accepted a gift, or a curse, if we call it that, to bring Rumira back.
No.
Oh.
Sir Strange,
Yeah.
make a charisma saving throw.
Oh no.
God damn it!
Oh no.
Ah, fuck! 27.
You feel your muscles seize for a minute,
Oh shit! Oh no!
and your body feels a bit frozen. And this sort of air pocket kind of coming down from your stomach up your rib cage past your lungs, almost like you're about to burp. And it gets about to your chest, and it kind of winces for a minute like a pain as the voice in your head says, "There is not two of us. We are one." And that voice seemingly trying to gurgle out of you and speak out loud, but you just hit your chest
Can
down.
I have a little of it come out?
How much of it do you want to come out?
Oh
I just-
shit.
I want an excuse to use my voice change.
Oh.
Sure. Make another con check really quick.
Arcana check?
Constitution check, yeah.
Gen Con, find us there, everybody. 26.
26. So yeah, this is completely up to you. What part of the conversation do you want to come out?
Oh no.
The sentence was, "There are not two of us, we are one."
Strange is just holding it back for a moment, and it's just,
Strange.
we are one. Oh,
The hammer is immediately in hand.
Oh.
It appears out of thin air.
And Tarek, make a perception check.
2.
You don't see shit. Even at point blank range. Weird. But you're so taken aback from that dark booming voice just worming its way out of Sir Strange's mouth that you don't take time to look at any details. You just got the hammer out and you're just in a defensive stance.
Strange.
Ooh, see, that's the thing. There we go. Also,
What did you do?
Well, I
Strange.
I did what I had to.
Make a deal.
It wasn't really a deal. It was more of an agreement.
Pact.
Ooh,
An
no,
agreement.
not a pact. More of a mutual agreement between another being. Well, respectfully, Oswick, we are now one.
Oswick.
That's
Strange.
his name.
Strange.
Do I know this is a deity? This isn't a deity, is it? Is there any way for me to...
You have no idea what this is.
It's there.
So you've made a deal with a being that gives you abilities. Sound familiar?
Yeah. I guess you could say I did.
Yeah. I know it might have seemed like the right thing to do in the moment, and I am grateful that you brought Ramira back. But these things come with serious repercussions. It's dangerous. Just if things start to go bad, well, I've dealt with things like this before. Many times, actually. My whole life. I'm used to making deals to get out of bad situations. And well, I almost did the same this time. But I realized it was not the right thing to do. I know from the time I've spent with you that you didn't do this out of any ill intention. You did it probably because you thought it was the right thing to do. Or perhaps my perception of you is entirely wrong. I don't know. But we'll see. I would like to hope that that was why you made this deal. But just be cautious of what this part of you wants and where its loyalties lie and how it may try to twist your own.
Strange stares at the ground and glances over at Ramira, then over to Tarek. It's like I'm looking at a mirror.
What do you mean?
The reason why I gave you that necklace when I brought you back was because you were me.
See.
But it seems we've went opposite ways this time around.
These things tend to happen. There was once a time where I was a lot like Fiend. And then we took, well, different paths. These things happen.
Fiend, we need to go to get away money. That didn't see that, but
I think he's a little upset about that still.
Right.
Wasn't Salvia supposed to pay Feral as well? Oh, they're gonna be pissed about that.
Oh yeah, it's.
Why do we never get paid?
Hear the voice in your head go, oh, go.
No! Stop perpetrating a false voice!
What's wrong, Mr. Krabs? I mean, Fiend?
It just goes. No.
Oh, I hated that.
Oh, me too. It's fine. It's okay.
Not gonna get used to that.
No, me neither.
Nope. Well, despite all of that, if you need anything, or need advice about dealing with, well, beings that you make deals with. Kind of the expert, so yeah. If you need anything, I'm here.
Same goes to you. But I'll keep
Thank
that in mind.
We're all a team here. We've got each other's backs.
We do.
You should rest at some point, though, Strange. Please.
For sure.
Okay. So with that,
Yeah.
Tarek, roll your perception check.
Yee. Oh, natural 20.
Oh, very nice.
Plus
So-
nothing.
Yeah. So standing up in the base of the Mage Tower,
Mhm.
again looking out, there's smattering of all different sort of bright lights coming out of that rainforest. Mainly purple seems to be the predominating sort of color coming out of various flowers and light protruding from the vines and the tree work. That neon blue sort of river down by your right side, those twinned moons above. He's
Engaged in
rolling
this.
kind of crimson clouds, not very much in your main view. They're kind of on the outskirts of your visage.
Is it still twilight?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Tarek will take note of that, considering he's rested since then. And it was a pretty considerable amount of time, at least it felt like it from the rest that he took. Like, some of his spells and such you can feel have come back, some of his magical power. It's strange to him that it's still twilight.
Mm-hmm. Moon is still in the same place as it was when you first went to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Interesting.
your watch goes by uninterrupted.
Okay.
Don't hear anything outside. All good.
Can I use ascending real quick, just whilst I'm on my watch?
Sure
Like
thing.
I need to do for a while. It might fail because we're on a different plane. But yeah. Whilst Tarek is kind of taking that time alone, kind of thinking about that and just watching the world go by as he's taking his watch, he's gonna make good on the promise he made to send a message to his parents because they still don't know he's alive.
Okay.
So he's going to he's gonna send one to each of them, but it's basically it's the same message. He's just gonna say, I'm sorry I didn't message sooner. Listen to Nakari. She can communicate with me magically. I'll return home when I can. And then he'll just wait a moment and then just add, I love you to the end of it. And he will send that to each of them respectively.
Okay.
do
Before
I
you
need to
kind of
roll
wake
for
up
my
the next.
5%?
Yeah, go for it.
Because it could fail. Either of those could fail. If I roll, is it below 5 or over 95? Because I know it's a 5% chance of it failing. I can't remember which it is.
Yeah, so on your D100, you got to roll a 5 or higher.
Yeah, so 5 or higher for it to work. Cool.
No, for it to not work. It's a 5% chance of it to work. So you have to
Oh
roll.
no, it's a 5% chance it doesn't work.
Yeah, so either you got to roll above a 5. Anything above a 5,
Okay,
it
so
does
anything
not work.
below a 5 doesn't work.
No, above a 5. So
Either it's a
your
95%
100
chance it works, I believe. It's only a 5% chance it doesn't work, I believe, with sending. Yeah.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
anything above it doesn't work. Right. So anything above the 5, it will work. Anything under the 5, it does not work. There you go. We
Cool.
got that.
Cool. Gotcha. Whoops. I lost that one. I'll re-roll that. That's an 82 on the first one.
Okay.
That does work. Second one is an 84. Wow, I rolled an 80 twice. So both of those work. Nice.
All right. So as
So,
you cobble
we'll
those
see that.
together in your watch, say those
Mhm.
words under your breath,
Yeah.
send it out to the ether. You feel confident that you put it out there.
Cool. Perfect. feel a little better after doing that. And then, yeah, he'll just take the rest of his watch.
All right. Who's up next?
I will try to wake up.
Yeah, Tara doesn't know who to wake because we were the only two who agreed to watch this. For all
So
that.
it's up to you. You could wake up Ramira, Mr. Fiend, or Sir Strange.
If Fiend wakes up, then she will wake up.
Yeah, where is Fiend sitting right now?
Fiend is leaned up against the wall next to the window.
Oh, okay. Next to the window. Okay. Yeah, he'll make his way in. And yeah, he'll make his way in. He'll go over to Fiend and kind of gently kind of shake his shoulder. Trying not to wake Ramira. Just trying to jostle Fiend a little bit.
It won't matter. She will wake up. She will wake up.
Okay.
She's on high alert. There's no way that homie's gonna sleep through.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
She's tired AF, but like she will wake up.
Can I try to stealthily wake up Fiend?
Oh my god, we're not doing this. Let's go.
Just pull out a $1 bill.
How about this? Tarek, wake up Fiend. Ramira, roll perception check.
God damn it. Fuck. That's a 7. You bitch.
Okay. Tarek, roll a stealth check.
Here's where I nat one this. 15.
15. Okay.
So
you go
plus
over
stealth?
and just
plus
subtly,
8. So.
subtly wake up Mr. Fiend in a very quiet manner.
Fiend.
What?
Well, since you're by the window, I thought you could take the third watch. Farrell and I have already gone. We didn't really agree to watch this, but it's probably good that we all take some time to keep an eye on things.
Fair enough.
There was something I wanted to talk to you about.
Ramira, roll another perception check.
Okay. Oh, I forgot. I have a negative something to this. I have a -3 technically because I've gotten.
I was like, yes, please have this
Ooh,
conversation.
Yeah, so with that resurrection that Sir Strange
He's
used,
being quiet
wake
about
you,
it, but like,
you've
yeah.
got a penalty on your checks.
An 11. Gosh dang it! With my stupid penalty.
11. Fortunately, not enough to be woken up.
Fiend kind of like Fiend doesn't sleep in his jacket, so he just kind of balls the jacket up and lays Ramira down on the jacket as like a pillow, and stands up and cracks his neck, walks over, 20 feet or so, and goes, "It can't wait until morning."
Not really.
Well, spit it out.
I just wanted to apologize for the things I said
Oh,
when we were not quite ourselves.
don't worry, we all said some things we regret. There's magic. There's a way of changing you.
And that's why, well, there's an old saying of actions speak louder than words. So the action I'm going to take to prove that I am really sorry about what I said was not to question some things you might have said, some perhaps slip-ups you made. You may have, unless you feel it is something that you might need to share with us. I'm sure if it was, you would say it anyway, but other than that, I will not question it.
Fiend puts his hand on Tarek's shoulder and goes, "It's for the best. For everyone."
But if that changes and we need to know...
Of course, you'll be the first I tell. Now go to bed.
Thank you.
Enjoy your rest.
Yeah, and Tarek will go and lay down. Don't shake your head at me, Ivy.
Okay. What does Fiend want to make their perception check, or does Fiend want to do anything before doing so?
He kind of just looks out the window, walks back over, looks out the window, and waits.
Okay. So you look out amongst the stars in the infinite twilight. You look down at your ring. And out of the two eyes, those emeralds, it's a faint flickering.
There you are. Looks around. Fiend. Where are you? Ow. Do I recognize the voice?
Yeah. Very barely, though. It sounds like a mix of static in a large warehouse. You hear echoing. You hear static. The sound sounds recognizable. But it's hard to pinpoint what it is. Give me a either intelligence or investigation check.
Same thing. 14. 13 plus 1.
13 plus 1.
Fiend. Jesus Christ, who is it?
Look down at your ring. The faintness, the green sort of turns up a little bit in the hue, but there's still a static, almost like a storm is raging through and the electrical pulse is failing.
This has never happened before. Oh, it holds his like finger out the window for like a better signal kind of thing.
You put your hand out the window and the light glows.
Who's there? Speak up if you could. It's me. Do I recognize the voice?
The voice sounds very familiar to an old trickster god you spent a little bit of time with.
Well, it's about time. I've been here for hours. Yeah, you've been there for hours. I've been here for years. What? We saw each other not even yesterday morning. For you. Trying to get a read on you. Where are you? I kind of just like step through the window, land on the outside. Damn it all! Can you read me now? Focus. On the ring. I swear to God, if I have to do every god's work. I try to focus on the ring.
Right, make an Arcana check.
I'm good at those. That is a 6 plus 15, 21.
You look at the ring and focus. The emeralds start to glow a little bit brighter. Stupid fucking thing. Come on! You look at it and the bright eyes just go over your entire body as the green brightens to a bright white light. You look down and you're wearing this cloak that drapes down your knees and drapes onto the floor. You look on your arms, and you're sitting on a very recognizable throne with a few stairs going down to a main throne room. A huge spear next to the throne. A perch with a massive raven sitting on it. You look up at your head, and there is a crown around it.
What is going on?
Bursting through the big double ivory clad in stone doors that you've seen many times, stepped through many times, is Loki, draped in a very comfortable sort of green and gold kimono looking attire with no shoes on, bare feet. Ah, you've made it.
Where are we here? This
You
looks
don't
like Odin's throne room.
It is Odin's throne room, stupid.
You took me out of the Feywild.
Oh, fuck no. No. We're just inside the ring. Think of this as just a meeting place for us to talk. Very hard to find you, by the way. Where the fuck are you? And he just like starts to waddle over, just like reaches, finds a cup off the table and grabs it and splooshes it into like a basin of red wine.
Well, I'm in the freaking Feywild. We teleported there in a whole fucking building from Asgard. Where are you?
Also in the Feywild? Not too sure, though. This place is really fucking complicated to travel around.
I can imagine. Did you get the stone yet?
Not yet.
You said you've been here for years.
Apparently, finding the heart of the fucking Feywild is a bit harder than I had anticipated, okay?
So even the god of mischief is having trouble.
Yes.
If you need help, all you need to do is ask.
Well, I've been looking for you for quite some time, and I just recently looked down and saw a faint ringing coming from my hand. Did you just arrive finally? You must not be nearby. The signal is all over the place.
Yes, I have arrived an hour ago, Your Highness, and apparently the tower that I arrived in, a traveling tower, yes, moving castle, if you will, is blocking some sort of signal, so I have stepped out of it for the moment.
And as he kind of like walks towards you going up the stairs, you're like a 5-year-old draped in your father's robe, just on the floor, dragging down. You kind of get up and the sleeves are just draped down low. Starts to walk up. Kind of familiar digs? You don't dig it?
Yes, I like it, but it's a bit big. I think I'd fit more into it if it was appropriate size.
Hold on. This whole robe starts to shrink and acclimatize to your body type. You're wearing this fine silk robe with like gold trimming, and it's sort of a black silk that kind of comes down from all sides. Asgardian runes kind of tapered in the stitching from the left to right.
Are you enjoying your freedom?
It's been nice, I will say.
That's good.
I mean, that of all the times I've been freed, that was definitely the most creative and the most fun.
I aim to please. Have you run into our mutual friend Reynard yet?
Not quite. As I said, traveling throughout the Feywild is pretty fucking difficult. Have you ever been there before?
No.
I just start to like lay down on the stairs, like kind of next to you.
Fiend just like his sister at a sleepover, just puts rests his arm on his hand. No, I really haven't. This is my first time. It does seem a bit strange, though. It was messing with my mind a bit ago.
Yes, the Feywild is all full of fuckery. It's very, very based on emotion, you know. You could walk for days, even years, and not even get to any location you're trying to get to unless you are significantly plugged in on the right frequency. And you, my friend, are like in the outskirts of the outskirts of the outskirts, because I couldn't even tell you were here until 2 seconds ago. I get the faintest signal.
Do I have any of my, do I have like a copy of my materials with me? Like, do I have like my backpack?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
You look back. Backpack behind you.
Wonderful. He picks up his backpack, opens it up, and pulls out the Atlas of the Feywild and kind of slides it across the floor to Loki. Will this help?
It's a bit of an older rendition, isn't it?
I imagine mountains are still where they are, and trees in the Feywild don't really get cut down, do they?
Yeah. No, I mean, things will cut them down, and eventually monsters will do what they do. Battles tend to change typography and everything. I will say that it's a lot more different than when I was there.
Well, how do we finish our mission here? How do you get the Heart of the Fae for me, and how do I find the other two that I'm looking for? This Archaidh druid, what's her name?
No, I believe Achaidh was right.
Yes, and she has some sort of arm machine that I need from her. And then, of course, Reynard, because that's personal.
Yes, well, once I arrived here, something was different about this plane than when I last had come. I mean, granted, it's been a couple of thousand years, but... Did you notice where you are? Infinite twilight? Purples and greens and humidity.
Right. Yeah. Bit sticky. Understood. Not very comfortable. Came from ungodly cold and have been in Asgard. Also, I've been to Jotunheim. So I'm at this point, things don't really surprise me when they're different than what I'm used to. It's really the point of A to Z that I care about.
Well,
thick forest. Where are you? More thick forest? Problem.
Right. You see, I may or may not be hiding out.
You're hiding? From who?
There was something you forgot to mention.
Oh, what did I mention?
Something you didn't tell me.
What didn't I tell you?
Is there a certain mechanical friend that you let loose?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, really? You don't know. You don't know what we're talking about. Well, I don't even know what we're fucking doing. I might as well just leave you here to have your own conversation. I'll take you later. All right, bye.
Fiend is giggling like a schoolgirl. That robot's giving you trouble.
Kevin's fucking left. I'm so mad right now.
You're just...
Oh my god.
You can't beat a machination.
Listen here, friend.
Are you rusty?
Just... Should fucking leave your consciousness in here for all eternity, but I don't have the time. Listen. I don't know if you've, in your peasant mortal life, have ever introduced a animal, a creature, into an environment it doesn't belong. Viruses tend to get introduced to environments that are not equipped to handle them. Fire catches like a wild flame untamed through dry brush.
So you're telling me of all of the Fae, the Archfey, Here, none of them have been able to dominate Sam. Sam? Yes. Like a self-automated machine or something like that.
Well, I don't know what you told this Sam or what you did to it. You know, when you enter the Feywild, you don't really get much of a smattering of where you get to enter from, and wherever I entered from.
Same point, I imagine. Well, we tried to kill him, and he got away.
Clearly.
This close.
Clearly.
Just so you know, low-level spells don't work on him.
Well, this little AI has grown smarter than you can ever believe, and quite frankly, its thirst for knowledge has gone a bit, let's say, unchecked.
What of the Autumn King?
I haven't really had the time nor the inclination to visit old friends or people that want to take my head. I've been doing my damnedest to honor our agreement.
Fantastic.
Find this fucking tree and this fucking heart of the Feywild for you.
I tell you what, you find that and do your job, and I'll kill Sam.
Like a weed grows amongst the stars, graining itself in every root there could be. Sam, much like a virus, much like introducing an animal into a part of the wild where it does not belong, it starts to procreate and spread itself. And seemingly infecting the Feywild.
Wait, the Fey is becoming machine?
Tread carefully, fiend.
Ah.
You see Loki's vistas start to static out in this weird construct that he's built for you and him to talk in. Dog. Look, if you see it in a Fey and they have it, shorts out.
Loki.
Gone.
Loki. Damn it all. Why can't anything go smoothly? Too much on this. Am I out of the...
You kind of sit there for a moment, looking around this domain that Loki has created. You kind of get up from the throne that you're sitting on, stand up, and as you stand up, you're standing upright in the bottom of the Mage Tower.
I'm sure everything's fine. He's been around too long to be in trouble. You know, they'll make it out. It's fine. Fiend wanders back over as was I the last?
There's one more to take a watch, so you can pick either to wake up Sir Strange or Rhaenyra.
Fiend just kind of double finger pokes Rhaenyra in the forehead gently.
Oh. What? Why?
It's your turn for a watch, dearie.
And she rubs her eyes, and she has just like horrible gray bags underneath her eyes. Okay.
He kind of just helps you to your feet. Like,
yeah, she like very roughly gets up and like uses the wall to help her stand up as well. And then she kind of just walks over to like a window or a clearing and then sits down and then puts her face down to look outside.
Just be careful, this place is strange.
As you look outside, Rhaenyra,
Oh.
make a perception check.
Oh no, I was scared. Okay, go.
Loki.
Okay, it's fine. 13.
13. So you look outside the window, perch yourself on top of it, purple, blue lighting jettison outside from the Freyvor's tree line, you notice something. Small, radiant head.
My friend.
With 2 little ears. Just probably a good 70 feet, 80 feet away from you. Just poking a head out from the brush.
Oh no. Okay.
Darts back inside to the tree line.
As she had right before this, when she was going to walk over to the window and put her face on and look out, before Fiend can settle back in, she goes, "I miss Wagon's community."
What? You miss Wagon's community?
And then she just kind of puts her face down, and that's when she sees the bunny.
I suppose that time was more simple, but still out of our control.
But we were happy then.
Yes, something did make us believe we were happy.
And she kind of just sits there for a second and then looks back. I think I was still happy.
I probably was too, if I'm being honest. Ignorance is bliss. And everything just seems to get more and more complicated as we go.
And she kind of just thinks about that for a little while, and then doesn't say anything else, and just kind of looks out at the grass, essentially. Does she see all the weird creepy people too that are wrapped in vines? Okay. And she's gonna wait for Fiend to go to sleep.
Fiend just kind of tucks his arms in, tucks his chin to his chest and goes, "But soon I'll have the power to make things simple."
That's really sad and also really cute. She kind of just sits there and then waits for him to go to sleep and his breathing to go to something cyclical.
Money.
As she's sleeping there, she goes, "That seems right," and then kind of gets up and uses the wall to walk herself over to an opening and then tries to call out to the bunny. And
How do you call out?
I think she's quiet at first, but she just goes, "Oh, is that you? Come here. And that's kind of what she does, where she's just like, come here. Mirror.
Say that out there. Looking out at that tree line. You don't hear any response. A bit of rustling in the tree line.
Can I make a perception check to see if this is really her bunny?
Make an insight check.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so usually, hang on, that's a 18 with my freaking negative.
18. So you are fairly far away to get an up close look at this radiant animal. But the instant you saw just the snout of it, the head of it kind of poke out of the brush, and then 2 ears kind of flop out of the leaves, and
My friend.
this overwhelming sense of familiarity and calmness and warmth kind of washes over you from the recognition of the animal. Is it the same one you saw that you had all that time ago? It's hard to tell at this point, but you got an instant familiarity rush from seeing it.
And I can pretty much gauge, right? These people died by walking into the grass, right?
These people? The people who are warped with vine and wood?
Yeah.
Not sure at this distance.
Gosh, dang it. Oh no, she's so vulnerable right now. She's gonna just very carefully stick one foot into the grass.
All right.
This is going to be very tentative, testing water kind of thing.
2 steps in the grass. Nothing seems to happen.
Please don't make me follow you. I need you to come here. Her like knees are still shaking from how her like sickly she feels.
Okay. And by this point, it's getting near the final moments, the final minutes of the full rest. As you slowly are making your footsteps crunching against the grass, slowly walking past all of these animated statues covered in vine and warped wood, walking through dilapidated buildings on one side, chaos exploded from all around on the other. You start to make your way close to the tree line.
She's not gonna go into the tree line. She's gonna wait for this thing to come out to her, if that's really her
you're
friend.
getting close to it at this point. And you're just whispering, come on. Come on. And then beyond the tree line, you hear a...
Oh no, she
the
starts to
rustling-
back up.
The rustling of leaves.
Yeah, she starts to way back up, like very slow, but she still starts to backpedal gently because she's like, this feels wrong.
And you start to back away slowly. And the rustling in the
No!
trees start to shake more and more.
She bolts back.
And then you start to back away, but you hear a smattering of feet coming out of the tree line.
Oh no.
And you're like, is this
It's actually the bunny from Monty Python and not my bunny. No.
kind of stake, you back away, but you hear the smattering of small feet falls coming through the tree line towards you. You kind of just steady yourself. And then this small little satyr with round ram horns, little goat feet, a little round belly, this little like satyr fey creature holding a decapitated head with blood pouring off of it with this sort of techno virus jettisoning from its out of space, is running out of the tree line going, run! And bolts past you. And then coming out from the other side of the tree line, this orange glow starts to permeate and get bigger and brighter. And then coming out of that tree line is a flamed horse, black, with a fiery mane.
A nightmare.
And it rears up, and this headless man with a flowing coat and big, thick boots holds up a flaming sword. And it is there, everyone, that we're going to take our break. So,
Terminator.
We are going to take a break right there. We will come back in about 5-10 minutes, everyone. Don't go anywhere. Things are about to get spicy.
Oh, yeah, but when I open the leathers, I'm the bad guy.
We hadn't rested yet.
Yes.
You just got to the end of that long rest.
We got a long rest, and that's when I was foolish after the long rest.
All right.
Yeah,
all
you
right.
all got your long rest. This was just at the ending of it.
Thank goodness.
All right. So, guys, we'll be right back in about 5 minutes or so. And we hopefully Jody's listening. And we're back. All right, everyone. First encounter in the Feywild.
But why? Have we considered not? Have we considered not? I need to adjust all my spells. Hold on, wait.
So, for this part, we will be doing one round between Rhaenyra and this headless horseman before you all hear what's going on outside and wake up. Okay. So, with all that in mind, Rhaenyra, I need you to roll initiative.
Okay, fine. I also want you to know that she, as soon as that started to happen, she wouldn't use words because those are ineffective. She would just let out a shrill shriek. a very loud, panicked, oh my god, what's happening shriek, because that's all you need when somebody is chasing.
Yeah, because this horse that came out of the tree line wreathed in flame, fire coming out of its eyes, its mouth, the mane on fire. The person on the steed holding a very bloodied, ornate axe with heavy leather coat that's double-breasted, big heavy-duty pants with big, thick riding boots, big belts around, and a head clean off with tough leather gloves on as well. So what did you guess?
So the -3 goes to my initiative as well, right?
-3 goes for everything.
Okay. So in that case, she got a 9.
Yeah, the target takes a -3 penalty because you did take a long rest.
Yeah.
So the -3 is to attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks. So this would be considered an ability check, I guess.
I mean, I feel like initiative is its own thing. But...
Yeah, I think we'll just make it its own thing. So never mind.
12 then, in that case.
You got 12?
Yes. Also, I'm having a little bit of a difficulty hearing you over the music. Thank you. Yes, good.
Okay. Okay. So.
But yeah, she's just letting out a blood-curdling scream as she is running as fast as she can.
And you got a 13.
A 12.
12. Okay. So as you shout out, ah! just scream at the top of your lungs. Everyone make perception checks.
That is going to be a 3.
Whew.
I am tired.
14.
14.
24.
24.
15.
15. All right. So the majority of you hear the blood-curdling scream. Mr. Fiend still dead tired, just in this endless sleep. The rest of what the fuck? You get up like, wake up, Fiend, wake up! And you start to wake him up, but not before this combat and encounter happens. The Doulahan will go first. So.
Doula who?
Exactly.
Oh.
Could you doula not?
To make 2 attacks against you. If you want to look at the Roll20 screen, everybody, you will see what is left of the Academy of Arcana in shambles and ruins. Various people frozen in place, wrapped in warped arbutus wood and vines.
Gosh dang it.
As this fiery headless horseman runs up.
No.
To you.
Wow, Kevin.
Hey, I didn't make you go there.
I
it's gonna make 2 attacks against you.
Doula dare you, you doula bastard.
Watch the double crit.
No, Kevin.
Sean.
That is an 18 to hit for the first one.
Fuck. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second one is a 15 to hit.
A what?
15.
No, it misses. You can just hear her go, no. She's like running.
So as the horse neighs and rears its fiery head, big swing with the axe, dodge out of the way, goes in for another swing and will connect. So you will be taking... Let's see here. Yeah, you know what? We will do this with... Yeah, one hand. Why not? So, you will take 9 points of slashing damage.
Damn. Plus, there's more?
2d10 necrotic.
Whoa! Wow.
And that is 11 points of necrotic damage. And a 1.
Oh, that's a spicy.
Hello?
And that'll be its 2 attacks.
Okay, sure.
And so as that slash happens, gets you across the shoulder blade and chest area, take a big slash, and then you just notice necrotic energy, this sort of black and purple hue, kind of similar to the vibes you're kind of getting outside of the Fae, just hits you, and you back away. What would you like to do?
If I try to back away, right, it's gonna take an attack of opportunity on me.
Correct.
Fuck. Okay. God dang it. Let's see. 1 second. Damn it. I'm in such a precarious situation. Okay, yeah. So she is just gonna throw down, I guess. She's going to goodness gracious, sorry, I'm flustered now. She's going to cast Spirit Guardians at 4th level. So when it comes back around to his wisdom, or around his turn, he's gonna have to make a wisdom save. And then also his movement is half.
All right, that's 10, 30 feet around you, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what do your Spirit Guardians look like?
They are little bunnies still. Same thing. Bunnies.
Little bunnies with rabid razor-sharp teeth.
Yeah, they're really cute and whatnot. I'm also trying to see if my necklace is an action or if it is just a bonus action, but I don't think it says.
I believe it depends what charm you're using. Some charm will say as a bonus action you can do this, some are an action.
Interesting. It doesn't say anything for what I can see, but I am going to just call it, because I was going to try to use Cure Wounds on herself, but I don't know if it doesn't say from what I'm reading. Oh, bonus action. That's a bonus action. Oh my god. I cast bonus action. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Okay.
Because that's what that necklace does. And roll 1d8 plus 5. And that fucked me. 7 points of healing back. She's trying to pretend like she didn't just get her ass kicked when she decided to walk off a little too far from her friends after just dying. She is starting to, she puts up, Spirit Guardians, and then she, grabs her necklace, it bursts, she gets a little bit of healing back. She's like, oh my god. She's obviously panicking, and she starts saying, I'm over here! Oh my god, I'm sorry! And she is just freaking out and screaming so that people can come find her. And that's it. That's the end of my turn.
Okay, as you do that and kind of smack the ground with your mace, radiant glow around you, ethereal bunny is hopping out, razor sharp teeth, leaping and trying to bite at the flamed nightmare horse and at the Doulahan riding atop, covering it all. You take a charm, break it across your chest, and the wounds closes around you, healing you back up. God damn, where the fuck did I leave my fucking, just went through this, god damn it! And you're just shouting at yourself for the mistake that you just made. Up next is going to be the Satyr, who rolled low, who's in the range of your Spirit Guardian. So what do they have to roll as they also are getting just jumped on by rabid radiant bunnies?
Honestly, she doesn't know them, and they have a head in their hand, so yeah, they're going to have to take it.
Okay. What's do they roll for anything, or it just happens?
It's a wisdom save.
Wisdom. That is a 9. Just
okay, so they fail, and that is going to be 4d8 radiant damage, so please stand by. Not very much. That's 14 points of radiant damage.
Okay, 14 points of radiant damage. As you see the radiant bunny starting to leap onto the small, tiny satyr, just like little piranhas jumping at the back. There's 4 or 5 of these little bunnies just lashed on, biting and chomping. Shit! Fuck!
And their movement is halved now.
Correct. Okay. After that, the rest of you hear that shout. You've all risen up from your sleeping quarters currently, and running out to see Rhaenyra standing toe-to-toe with this flaming headless horseman. I need all of y'all to roll initiative as well.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Right before we ran out, Pearl quickly grabbed her armor and put it on as they're running out.
Fair enough.
Mr. Strange was kind enough to remind her that she needed to wear it.
The light leather armor of spell resistance.
Correct.
As you put on that high-collared sort of autumn leaf and wood sort of warping of the leather onto you, bands around your biceps. That's kind of a high collar that drapes down around your midriff and your waist. Looking sharp.
She's also, since she realizes her dress is also a little tattered, she's gonna cut a slit all the way, like high up to her thigh, since it's kind of hindering her movement at the moment.
Okay.
And run out.
All right. So what did we get, everyone? 25 to 20.
That is a fat, thick, dirty 20.
Hey. Ooh,
Nice.
Wow.
22.
17.
Okay, hold on. Strange 22, Tarek 19,
17.
17,
I
Farrell
also have a thing I will.
12.
12. Okay. So Strange, then Fiends on deck. Farrell or Rhaenyra, who has the higher dex?
My dex is a 14 or a +2.
Same. Do you want to go
Right.
first?
You guys can decide each round who wants to go first in front of the
Okay.
other.
Ramirez can go first since I was putting on the armor and took an extra
Yeah,
minute.
I'll go first.
Okay.
It's fine. I'll go.
So
I
at
was
the
like,
start,
oh, hold on, shit.
So at the
Kinda like
start of
bending.
the combat round, we come to Sir Strange. Strange got you coming out of the base of the Mage Tower on the map here, the top left.
Mhm.
What would you like to do, my friend?
Oh, so I heard.
You're sort of wailing, a screaming from Rhaenyra as this flaming headless horseman appeared out of the brush.
Okay, give me a second. I can run. So walking, so if I'm running, does it double my
You can
speed?
dash. That will double your speed as an action.
So it'll, okay, as an action.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see. I can just do 30 feet of movement. I guess the Strange is just gonna. Yeah, so I can do 60 feet, right? So if I dash it.
Yep, so if you dash, you will double your speed.
Okay, then I'll dash and I'll dash over to this point. So that's one use of an action, correct?
Yep, so that was your action to dash, and then you got a bonus action.
Okay, let me move myself. I'm doing 55 feet, so I'll be right around, or 50, right around here.
Mhm.
I'm also gonna go ahead and let's see. Ooh, this might be that you can. Ooh, sorry, I was a bit unprepared for this. Right.
Everyone.
I blame the Feywild.
Me over
Always.
here trying to get my spell slots in order. I'm like, wait, hold up. I need to prepare spells.
All right, and I am just going to. Can I? Oh no, I think I'm good then. I'm just gonna pull up my sword and ready myself.
All right, so you rush out there to Rhaenyra's aid, the longsword gleaming in the moonlight, and you are in a good position, my friend. Okay. After that, we come to Fiend. Also hearing the cry of Rhaenyra, you are the second person to come out of the Mage Tower in the top left corner of the map.
Cool.
Friend.
Let's see here.
All these statues, by the way, are the people warped in vine and stone. If you need to, you could try to go behind them for quarter cover.
Gotcha. No need. Has this thing been hurt?
Not yet.
All right. Mr. Fiend reaches out his palm as he is very well rested. And as a bonus action, he looks and sees this thing as a medium creature, sees the horse, sees the rider, and says, you have a pet? So do I. And then raises his hand up.
Yes.
There you go.
Next to this gentleman appears the size of his horse, this hound of ill omen. And as an action, Fiend's eyes like just spark and flicker lime green. Make a dexterity saving throw, DC 19 with disadvantage.
Okie dokie. New monster toy, dexterity?
Yep, DC 19 with disadvantage.
Oh, shit. Come on. No whammies. Oh, all the whammies. A 5 and an 8. That's going to fail.
Woot! I am going to spend an additional sorcery point to empower this spell. And as Fiend steps forward, that lime green omega beam shoots from his eyes and skitters across the ground.
All right. The hound appears in front of you, Ramira. The smoky visage becomes whole in front of you. Look behind you, and you see Sir Strange coming in close with Fiend not too far behind as the two red eyes start to glow in the darkness.
She turns around very happy and excited to see both of them, and then also cringes and stops looking at them to make eye contact and goes back to looking at the bad guy.
After the empowerment, it is 49 plus 40 for 89 force damage.
Oh, son!
I think that is the best disintegrate I've ever gotten.
49?
49 plus 40. 89 force damage.
Holy shit.
That's a lot of damage.
You just hear Mr. Fiend, who is grumpy, who has been tired and just wanted to sleep. He just comes out and goes, a victim. He raises his hound. His eyes glow this sickly green and stomps. And those omega beams weave in and out of the different buildings around the frozen people from the Mage's College and just slams into the side of this Doulahan.
Almost like the beams are being erected from the ground itself as you get out there. Disintegrate! And the red beams sort of erupt like a earthquake wave from the ground, like you're taking two jump ropes that have been laid in the ground and you're whipping them up as the beams just waves to the ground as debris and dirt and rock just fall all over and directly hits the Doulahan as he reaches up for the axe hit. Hits him from the side, almost knocking him off the horse as the horse and Net fall to the ground and get pushed a bit in the dirt. Red lines smoke up from the body's rib cage and from the side of the leatherwork that the Headless Horseman wears. Direct hit, and it looks painful as they both wail out. The satyr, the head that it's holding, just goes, "Ah!" Just shouts out.
You want to fight? I doula dare you doula dick. And then the hound just goes to fucking hunch this thing. That's going to be a 20 versus AC.
What are you firing at it?
The hound is going to jump on top of it after my turn.
Gotcha. Yep, that'll hit.
That's going to be 11 piercing damage.
Okay, plus 11 piercing as this Headless Horseman and the horse fall to the ground. The old omen just jumps on to the prey that's injured like a lion seeking out a gazelle with a hurt leg and just starts scraping at her and just starts ripping at the flesh of the nightmare beast. Goes to town. And there's visible gaping wounds from the eye line of the laser that hit it. and it is looking fucked up.
That is the end of my turn.
Okay, as Broly over here unleashes a crazy attack in full force. Up next is the Dullahan. At the end of your turn, though, it is going to use a legendary action. As the instance that you shoot it with those Omega Beams and it careens and rolls over, the Hound starts ripping at it. The Dullahan just backhands the smoky dog as it reels from the hit, careens itself back up on the horse, looks directly over your way, and then just rears up the Nightmare, flames jettison higher in the sky, and a wail comes out from the horse as it rages through directly to Sir Strange, as it's going to use 3 of its legendary actions to do Headhunt. Going to move up to its maximum speed without provoking opportunity attacks and make a battle axe attack with advantage at Sir Strange. As this fiery trail follows the Dullahan.
It would still be halved though, right? Or is that not a thing if they're in the...
Oh, sorry, I got to roll for
Spirit
the Spirit Guardians that started his turn.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
what is... It's a con
It's a
of
wisdom?
dex. Wisdom, there we go. It is going to use
Gosh dang it.
a legendary resistance to succeed.
Gosh dang it.
So does it half damage on success or no damage?
It does do half damage.
Okay, so roll a half damage then.
All right. Let's see here. So it's 21 damage total, so 10 radiant. Halved,
10
right? So,
Radiant. So 5. Okay.
or no, okay, I don't know what their stats are, but the halved version of that already is 10.
So it was 20, then it's 10. Okay.
Yes.
So 25. So as those rabbits are kind of joining on the Shadow Mastiff, as they just like careen and cover up the body, gets up, backhands the Mastiff. The ethereal rabbits and bunnies just fly off in the distance as it rears up, and that flame goes right towards Sir Strange. So Sir Strange is going to make a battle axe attack at advantage.
Oh shit, I forgot. I don't have access to my reaction stuff anymore because I switched oaths.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck.
No.
Oh.
F.
No.
That's a natural 19.
Our counter spells.
That's a 27 to hit, which I believe hits. All right. So it's going to deal a lot of extra damage. So from the battle axe attack, you will take the 1d8 plus 4 slashing, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of slashing.
Okay.
Plus 2d10 necrotic, plus some more.
Excuse me?
Let me see here. Where did my other thing go? There you are. So, the 2d10 is 9 points of necrotic, plus the extra damage from that legendary action, which will be 6d8 necrotic damage
Okay.
from this forceful strike.
I need help with math. As my favorite spokesperson says, that's a lot of damage.
So far you've taken
That's not that much
35
damage, though.
points of damage.
35? Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
That's
What?
so far.
Let me find my d8s here.
Kevin really said, what if I gave you one nap and then obliterated your ass again?
Muah.
Yes.
It's just one little, scary
Yeah.
this rider fey creature.
Yeah,
Got a
yeah.
technovirus on this head that a satyr is
Totally.
holding. What's wrong? What's
Of
wrong with that?
course.
This
Yeah.
is just to soften us up, you know? Nothing.
All right, so here comes the final necrotic damage. So that's an additional 19 points of necrotic damage.
Sounds good.
As the Zulahan races towards you, huge upswing with the axe, takes you out, knocks you on your ass for a minute. But that was at the end of Fiend's turn. Now, it is its turn. As it looks over to Fiend.
Bring it on, bitch.
And it will... Yep, it's just going to run towards the person that hurt it the most, and it'll take an opportunity attack from Sir Strange as it runs past you and tries to get over to Fiend. So you can make an attack roll, Sir Strange.
Okay. Let's see. Does a 29 hit?
It sure does. Roll damage.
Okay. Do I hit once or do I hit twice?
So it's just the one time. It's
Okay.
just an extra single attack that you get.
Okay. All right, then. Just question. Since I made contact with it, can I then use my improved Divine Smite? Because it makes contact, and I can usually expend a spell, or is it just me hitting it? Is what it does.
Let's see here.
Because I'll just roll to hit it with my normal damage. I was just wondering because once I make contact, usually my Divine Smite kicks in.
Yeah. There's been so much. I'm just looking up again because there's been so much back and forth from other games where it's like it's only just the initial like hitting of the sword, and you can't. I've heard other people say like you can't pump in a lot of extra stuff.
Okay. I'll just
worth
leave it
I'm
up to you.
looking at it right now.
Yeah.
A basic melee attack against enemy it provoked. So yeah, it's just your basic melee attack. So I don't think you get to pump anything extra into it.
Okay. See. All right. Well, I rolled it does 5. I hit it for 5 hit points.
5 points of damage as it strolls past you on the ground. Oh, that huge hit that you took as just like a firework ran straight at you full blast. You get up and swing with your long sword and hit the back leg of the nightmare as it rolls past you and goes to make a hit on Mr. Fiend, which it'll do its 2 attacks.
Mr. Fiend just puts his arms out like this.
Come on, motherfucker. All right. Here we go. That's a 21 to hit.
Shield.
Okay. And the second one? 13.
Yeah, nope. I'm at 22 AC.
Yeah. Nope. That ain't gonna fucking do it. You hear me?
Just he like puts his arms out, and as the blade comes down, this wall of shadows comes up in front of him.
Exactly. So as it bolts past Sir Strange and getting clipped in the back, the speed of it kind of wanes a little bit, and there's visible marks on this thing from all over its nightmare, all over its body. Goes up for a strike with the battle axe. Almost like your shield like caught it, the blade with 2 hands, and is just holding it there. It's struggling to like get it out of this invisible glass-like shield, like an axe being thrown into a stump. It does not affect you.
Mr. Fiend kind of like points his hands towards where Farrell and Tarek are coming from and goes, "Have you met my friends yet?"
All right. After that, we come to the satyr, who I forgot to start his movement, so he would have been probably around here with the head in its hand, and it's going to move to hide over there. So that'll be the satyr's turn. After that, we come to Tarek.
Wait, wasn't I before the satyr?
You are on par with Ramira and Farrell. You're at the end of combat. The satyr went before you last time.
Okay.
But Tarek, you are now the third person to come out of the
Yeah.
Mage Tower, and you see Fiend fighting this flamed headless horseman.
So first thing, as soon as Tarek sees this, he's just gonna sigh deeply and be like, "One rest, and we're right back to it." But as he kind of lets out that sigh, this is something that takes effect on a long rest, but I didn't get time to mention it until now. But as he kind of takes that kind of sigh, you can kind of see the breath come out of his mouth, but it's kind of like you would on like a cold day when it comes out like misty. But it comes out as like a golden color, and it kind of splits off, and part of it just goes to each person. You will get 12 temporary hit points.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
new thing that I
you.
have. I get
Fanciful.
19 as well. So y'all got 12 and I get 19. Very nice. That's just something that takes effect on a long rest. So every time we get a long rest, just assume that happens.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So 12 temp HP every time. It's always 12 as well. It's a set thing. Unless we level up, then it goes up. So yeah, that's something that happened at the end of the long rest. At this point, Tarek is going to. How far away is this boyo? It's not that far. I am going to. I'm just gonna hammer thwack, I think. Yeet the hammer. I'm gonna try and hit him. But I
Throw in the hammer.
Boyo. Yeah. He's trying
Alright.
to attack.
Make an attack roll.
Oh, natural 20.
Hey, critical hit.
Look at
All
that.
right.
Look at that. So yeah, that's a 28 to hit.
Will hit.
Cool. Right.
Roll all the damage.
Let me grab lots of dice, apparently. I'm gonna need more d12s. Love that for me.
So for the crit, you're just going to roll the damage as normal and then double the result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. Last one. Ah. That was not great.
So the damage die, whatever it is, times
Yeah.
that by 2, then add all the mods after.
I rolled a 6 and a 2, so that's 6 bludgeoning, 2 lightning, and then so that doubled.
So that's 12
So 8
bludgeoning.
doubled.
No, it's 12 bludgeoning and then 4 lightning.
Oh, yeah. 12 bludgeoning, 4 lightning, and then just plus 3, because that's what I get for my strength modifier to it.
So 19 damage overall.
It doesn't get doubled. Yes.
Okay.
Damn, that was not that high. I rolled low. Damn it. Yeah. So that's that. And then he'll just bonus action, bring the hammer back, hopefully.
Right. So make your strength check.
Strength check, DC 10. It's 11.
Just make it.
Only
So get out of the Mage
I get
Tower,
better at this.
swinging the hammer, throw with all the force and you can, and the runes on the side light up with that blue, the crackling of electricity falling out from all sides. Loud ring hits into the air when it connects with the Doulahan. A huge chunk of its shoulder just gets blasted off like you took a shotgun blast to its body. Bits of leather and dead skin just fall off to the side. And then
He's gonna call out to Fiend and be like, "Where's its head?"
How should I know?
I don't know. Usually they have a head. Normally I'd aim for the head, but it's not got one, so...
Maybe I hit it off already.
Did you?
I'm not sure. It was far away. I could barely see.
Just kill it.
After that, we are coming to Ramira.
Yeah, so she is distraught, but She is
Actually,
going to...
before you go, my mistake. I forgot I have legendary actions to spend.
No, you play... But what way? No.
Let's see, what would be...
Sorry, Headless Horseman, you forgo your turn. You forgot, so...
Yeah, you know what? It's going to use all 3 points again after that hit. And is going to rocket towards you and use all 3 points once again to use its headhunt move.
Oh no!
Speed at you, not provoking opportunity attacks.
Oh
And
no!
make a battle axe attack at advantage to you.
Oh no! I don't like that.
Rockets towards you with the
Stop it.
flame leaving behind.
This beach.
This
Beach.
motherfucker.
All right,
can't
so
believe
2
this
attacks
guy.
at advantage.
Can you believe this?
Natural 20! Oh no! Oh no!
Oh boy.
Oh no! That's a lot of damage! Let's go! Alright, here we go,
I'm glad
Tarek.
it hit me. I'm glad it hit one of the 2 people who
Yeah,
had...
I would have wicked died. I would have
Yeah, I was gonna
wicked
say,
died.
like, that's a one-shot for
This
most
is gonna
of you.
be crazy. Okay.
Glad I have
So-
those 19 temporary hit points.
The slashing damage is 8. Got the full 8 on that. That's nice. So that'll be...
Just tell me the full thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it all up.
Mm-hmm.
But deduce it as we go, because that'll be easier
Yeah.
for me. So I got the full 8 on the D8, so that's 16 plus 4. That's 20 points of slashing to start. Then we're gonna move on to the 2d10 necrotic damage.
So I've lost 1 normal HP so far.
And then we're going to go to... Oh, sorry. So I got a 7 times 2, 14 necrotic. On the second one, I got a 6 times 2, 12 necrotic. And then we're going to do the extra 6d8 necrotic that will also be double because of the crit attack.
God.
Come on, all 8s, baby! Let's go!
Please no. Please no. I don't want Tarek to die, please.
Ooh, those are all high, though.
No.
Don't worry, Tarek. I can help. Just let me help.
All right, so I'm just going to add this all up times 2. So that's a 6, a 6, a 5, a 7, 8, a 1
Oh, that's nice.
times 2. That'll be 66 points of necrotic damage.
Yeah.
As the
you guys
regular
would've
total
been
was
fucking
33.
dead.
Thank you, Tarek. Thank you, Tarek. Thank you.
As this fiery abomination on a horse that's barely attached with the arm that you almost took off rushes at you like a flamed battering ram in Lord of the Rings, just smacks into you as you hold your hammer up for to brace the hit, but it comes up and just slams you with the battle axe like a meteorite smashing into you, smacks your body into the stone wall of what's left of the Mage Tower. A chunk of it falls off as you get careened back into the central part of the Mage Tower, slide against the ground, huge indent into your armor, coughing, wheezing, blood pouring out. That
Yeah.
was quite the hit.
Yeah. Oh boy. So, ow. First of all, ow. Jesus. That's a lot of damage.
That was at the end of your turn. So now we go back to Ramira.
I have a reaction
You do.
I would like to do. As I get slammed into this wall and just like let out this yell of pain, Tarek's just gonna just grimace and open his eyes, and they're just burning red as he's gonna use his innate tiefling hellish rebuke just to give him a little something back.
Okay.
So that is a Dexterity saving throw, please. It's the 18.
That'll be a natural 18 right there, good sir.
You booger.
So you go do Hellish Rebuke as you get sent through the stonework wall, taking out a part of the door opening. Slide into the ground, does not take effect.
Half of 18, 6. It's half.
Oh, half, okay.
So yeah, so
6?
you take 6. Yeah. Because it was 18, half to 6.
As you careen through the stone wall, let go of that hellish rebuke that comes out of your eyes, through your hand, this dark spirit hits the rider off the horse, and the horse and it fall to the ground, lifeless. And as you wheeze and take in that hit, that fucking worked. What the fuck? Scrape off the debris off of your chest as the rest of your friends are kind of looking around as the dual hand is on the ground, lifeless. Fiend, you looking down at the corpse of this headless warrior. The flames still wreathing have not gone out. You see something bubbling around its neck as the blood starts to
back up
as the head jettisons out of the neckline, rolls out of its body. Another one, bloody head rolls out. A third one.
I would like to roll to kick ahead. I want to boot it.
Rolls out. One of the heads looks like a Medusa head, eyes glowing orange, snakes coming out of all of it. The other head, one giant eye taking up the bulbous of the skull with a huge unhinged bottom jaw. The third head looking kind of like a severed goblin head with a streak of a brown mohawk of hair and pointy ears. All three of these heads with orange eyes as they roll out of the body of the Doulahan, and they all start to float up around him as the horse comes back up to full view.
I hate that.
As once it reached 0 hit points, it enacted Headless Summoning.
I hate that.
So around the Doulahan are now 3 heads.
I hate that.
And I will just put these around it.
This could be a problem.
And the Doulahan is back up. All wounds from it have seemingly healed. The chunk of off its arm that was there that you had blown off with that huge mole near head has now refilled itself, and its form seems to have come back.
So it just doesn't die. Cool. Nice. That's great. Yup. Love that.
So now, as your reaction has finished, the heads are now visible. We come to Rhaenyra.
Okay, lads. Well, now I am shook, but she's gonna book it and run. Like in the middle of it, she pats Fiend's dog on the head as she bolts off, and she goes, "Good boy," and then runs up as far as she can. Oh, that was the hound. LOL.
It sounds disturbingly like Fiend. Thank you.
She goes, and then which one specifically is the Medusa head?
All right, I'm just writing down all these stats here for you friends. Okay. The Medusa head is the red dot.
Okay. So I am going to cast Guiding Bolt at Fuck, I just realized I'm gonna have a negative to this. 4th level. Golly.
So it's a -3.
Yeah. That's an 18 to hit.
That'll hit. Roll damage.
Okily dokily, lads. That's gonna be 76 of radiant damage. And the total is 29 radiant damage to the Medusa head. Please.
Okay, what's the attack again?
It is Guiding Bolt.
Guiding bolt. As you look up and get up and you see his head roll out of the body, it stands up once more. You just start running towards it. Whip around your mace. Radiant bolt fires across the Academy of Arcana. The Medusa head just starts to look around towards you as its eyes start to glow. You blow that head into a million pieces as the snake bits start to fall down on the ground all around you, obliterated.
Okay, cool. You can tell that as like she's running, she is a lot heavier breathing, and she looks a lot more tired than she usually would running laps in the game like this. But she's like, okay, we're good. It's fine. We're ahead of this. As she's like trying to blow things up from afar, and that is the end of her turn. Also, she won't make eye contact with Strange, even though she's standing right next to them. And that's the end.
All right. After that, we come finally to the Feral. Coming out of the Mage Tower next to Tarek. Seemingly one at a time, you're all rushing out there. Sir Strange being the fastest, followed quickly by Fiend. You see Tarek just like, shit, we gotta go. Run out there. Just like fall into past the stonework, skid at your feet. And you see the Doulahan rise up as the heads roll out, and you make your way
You
out.
got this, Feral. Knock him out.
Great.
I'm gonna take a nap real quick. Ow.
Sure, take a nap. I'm sure that's a great time to take a nap. Real quick.
I'll be fine. It's just a flesh wound.
Does my AC change because I put on the armor?
You should have the stats all there for what it is. I think for all intents and purposes, it is leather armor.
I don't have them.
If you equip the armor set that it is, that'll give you the proper stat.
Oh, okay.
If that
I don't
makes
recall what
sense.
it's called.
So it'll say on there, you just add like normal leather armor,
Just
and
leather
then
armor.
just look to the stats of the armor for what it does on top.
Okay. Honestly, I don't know if I have the actual.
I should have sent it to you.
I don't think there's. So just normal leather armor,
Waka.
like common leather armor.
Hold on. Okay. This is me trying to find armor for you, and we are finding on the phone for the stats. Where are you, little thing? There we go, yeah, fucker.
Amazing.
So leather armor. So yeah, it's just leather armor.
Okay. I believe I already have leather armor on, so it should not change.
So you should still have the same stats. I think it was a +2 leather armor.
+2 leather armor.
Yes. So if you just find a regular leather armor and put the pick the
+2.
+2. that should-
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll edit that in a second. Okay. Either way, I know. All right. So, seeing, Terry being like, I want to take a nap right here. Farrell's going to.
Just gonna lie here for a minute.
No, good for you. Farrell's gonna look to it. Her eyes are gonna flash with those crescent moons for a second and have a weird silver glow as she's gonna call lightning.
Okay. Call lightning on the Doulahan.
At a 5th level.
Okay.
So it is a storm cloud appears in the shape of a cylinder that is 10 feet tall with a 60-foot radius centered on a point you can see within range directly above you. When you cast a spell, it's basically like Moonbeam. When you cast a spell, choose a point you can see under the cloud. A bolt of lightning flashes down from the cloud to that point. Each creature within a 5 foot of that point must make a dexterity saving throw.
All right. Dexterity saving throw, baby.
So yeah, she's gonna kind of flash and then
That's all
gather
3 of
up.
them.
Mhm.
So the headless horseman got a 14.
14.
One head got a 4. And a natural 17.
Okay,
So
so
that's
the
an
one
8.
that got a 17, the one that got the 18 succeeded, but it's still gonna take half damage. So
Okay, so the blue head will take half damage. The other 2 will take full.
Joe, yeah. So that is going to be, let's see. So I did it at a 5th level, so it's gonna be 5d10s. Finish rolling dice. I like how D&D Beyond's just like spin, 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 spin. All right, 10. That's gonna be 28 points of damage to each, except for the one that's halved. So it'll be half of 28.
28,
And
14.
it's concentration, so it stays up.
Okay, so 28 to the Doulahan. And as you call lightning down, you reach out to the heavens, reach your hand up. Those crimson clouds start to sort of pour over, and bits of rain start to drop down through the humidity as you reach up, and there's a pink light that's protruding from the crimson red cloud, and you pull your hand down, and bright pink lightning strikes go, and this pink fire sort of erupts to the ground all around you. The 2 heads just explode like popped balloons, and the Doulahan takes a significant bit of damage, but is still standing. But the heads are all gone.
It's gonna kind of like crack her neck. Not really my color, but that's fine. Let's see if there's anything else. And it does stay up because it is concentration. Let's see, where am I on the map? I'm gonna move up a little bit to right here, directly beside Fiend, or at least a little bit behind Fiend, because I never know when he's gonna fireball himself. I'm gonna kind of step up and keep that storm cloud up. Eyes kind of flashing a silvery color.
Okay, so I will. How big is the radius in the storm cloud?
It is 60. Let me double check. Double check that. I believe it's 60 feet. Yes, it is
Holy
a
cow.
cylinder that is 10 feet tall with a 60-foot radius.
The fattest cylinder that ever existed. All right. So that'll cover all that ground. So I'll put the lightning bolt kind of next to the Doulahan. That's how much ground it's covering currently.
Cool.
Okay. So yeah, it takes out those 2 heads. They pop instantaneously as this fiery, hot, pink lightning bolt comes down from the red cloud above, exploding them instantly. Then after Pharaoh, we come to the top of the round with Sir Strange.
Let's see. What shall I see in my bag of tricks? How many of the heads does it still have?
They got rid of all of them. It's just the Doulahan now.
Okay. Cool. Let me take a look. And the Doulahan's all the way over there, correct? Right.
Correct,
and,
right by the lightning.
Okay. I'm gonna do something. This is gonna be a play. Let's do this. And give me 1 second. I'm just checking if I can do this. You can find some here. Okay. So I am going to. Can I move 25 feet and then use? If I move and I use Misty Step, can I still roll to attack it if I Misty Step right near it?
I believe Misty Step is a bonus action. So
Yeah,
you should
like, I
have
mean-
your action to be able to
Okay.
do whatever you like.
Okay, so I'm going to do Misty Step requires me to be within 30 feet. Okay, so mine is 30 feet.
It'll take you right by Farrell there.
Okay, and then if I'm right here, I will be within range.
Yeah,
So
you're like 10, 15 feet.
I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to use Misty Step to get right near it,
Okay,
and then I'm going to roll to attack it.
all right. Go for it.
Do I still have my inspiration from before? Does that carry on? I never got to use my inspiration.
You know what?
No.
Why not? We'll give it to you.
An inspiration is how many?
So Strange has been through a lot. It's just a D4.
D4? Okay. Let's see. Does a 14 hit?
Miss.
Miss. Okay, then I'm gonna roll for my second attack. Does a 29 hit?
That will hit. Roll damage.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and
I
do
never
this.
got to use my hands. I'm so mad about it.
So it does 9, but I'm also gonna go ahead and use, let's see, my Divine Smite.
Yeah.
You can spend 1 spell slot to deal 2. Okay. I am going to expend a 3rd level spell slot. So I forgot how many that gives me. Let's see.
So each spell slot is a D8, I believe. So if you use the 3rd level spell slot, that's 2D8. Or 3D8.
3d8. Okay. And because I also got improved Divine Smite, so it'll be 4d8. I get an extra 1d8 with radiant damage.
That is true.
So let's do that. 2, 3, 4, 4d8s. Okay, so 22 plus 9, 22 radiant damage and 9 regular damage. I'm going to hit him with that.
Ooh. So 22 points of radiant damage
Mm-hmm.
plus the 9
Regular damage, yes.
regular. So that is 31 altogether.
Yep.
Ooh, boy. That is a hit. So Strange, as you kind of get up from that initial hit, Ramira behind you, you just look over at this thing and just this rage starts to envelop you. You look down at your rose insignia as the wilted leaves are still purple around you. You get up and just for a running start as it's slow a bit with your heavy paladin armor on you, but with that goalie mask-like mask that you have, the helmet with the visor up, you start to make a jog, and then you get faster and faster, and then you put the visor down with the holes kind of protruding from the mouth, the rose sort of crown around your helmet, take out the longsword, suddenly dissipate, and like Nightcrawler appear over the dual hand. This huge radiant swing as you smack on its leather back makes this thunderous clap as radiant energy just protrudes from all angles from your sword.
Can I have Strange yell something as they do this?
For sure.
Almost like they're mixed together, and in a chorus, Strange just yells out, "Learn your place!"
And as you say that, black veins protrude from the corners of your eyes, black veins wisp up from your neck as the radiant smash echoes little tiny cracks of necrotic damage as you bring the hammer down, so to speak, on the Doulahan. And you made a substantial crack. Like as it went up to block with the axe, you just felt this cracking of whatever bones are inside this thing as its arm just gets ripped and shredded from your radiant hit. And parts of its jacket, its leather visage are just torn. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Is there anything else? Because I already used my bonus.
Yeah, bonus action, movement. Unless you've got any other sneaky things, I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't have any more sneaky things.
All right. So after that, brilliant display. We come to Fiend.
Hello.
Hello.
It just fucking darted past Fiend. Sir Strange ran up and teleported, darted past Fiend. Fiend, irritated that this thing had the audacity to fail against it and move past Fiend, turns and just goes, "I'm sorry, was I boring you?" and clenches his fist.
You're so lucky that the crit hit fucking lets your action fucking go against you.
I resist necrotic damage.
Yeah.
Make a Constitution saving throw, DC 19.
Okie dokie.
And I'm going to spend a...
Hey, natural 18. That is going to be 24.
That's all right. You're going to take half of this anyways. I empowered it, so that isn't... Uh, 34 plus 4 plus 3. Uh, 50 necrotic damage, and I will spend 1 sorcery point to transmute this into lightning damage.
Ooh. So what's the attack again?
It is blight, but he is going to change it from necrotic to lightning as a lightning beam shoots from his hand for, I believe I said, what was it?
50 points of
50
damage.
points of lightning damage. So he takes half of that.
Okay. So 25 points of lightning damage.
How's it looking?
Pretty fucked up. It's still up though, as you go up to it, and am I boring you? As the crimson clouds start to part, the rain starts to pour on top of you, waving your hands around, little static electricity coming off of it. Go in for the blight spell as the necrotic damage starts to blacken around you. You change the dark purple hue into a light blue, hitting from its back, hitting from its side, the leather material that it's wearing, its clothing evaporating and shredding from all the fire and chaos, but still holding on to the reins of the Nightmare Mount, rearing the legs up as it's resisting your fucking hit and it's not going down. Is there anything extra you wanted to do?
Is the head that the satyr is holding part of that creature?
Make an intelligence check since you didn't see it coming out here.
I don't need to.
Oh, the hound.
My hound will just know.
Correct. It's a headless horseman. Satyr's holding a head.
The hound crawls out of the shadow next to the satyr. It is bigger than the satyr. And it just opens its mouth towards what the satyr is holding.
Whoa! It just says that.
The hound goes to snap its jaws around it.
Around the head?
Yeah.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
This is going to be a 17 plus 6 is 23.
Okay. Damage.
10 piercing damage.
Like Gallagher in a watermelon, the massive jaws of the Shadow Hound snaps the head. This headless, dead corpse head that has weird sort of silver lines kind of protruding from its eyes and kind of clipping up and all around. No! Just squishes it and blood bursts out like a fruit gusher with like eyeballs and bits of brain just crush as you just smash the skull into a little heap of goo. The satyr goes, no, what am I gonna do now? No! Oh, god damn it, no!
The hound's eyes are just perfectly round circles of light. And it's just staring at him.
Oh shit.
That is the end of my turn.
Okay. And like the satyr's clothing just like has this nice sort of shimmering purple, green, dark blue sort of outfit. It's just like just blood splattered all over it. Okay. Head taken down. We go over after Fiend to the Doulahan in question. All this happening around it, enemies are around it. It is going to just go for a swipe at anyone around it. That's a 2, and that's going to be Sir Strange. So Sir Strange is going to make 2 attacks against Ya. There's a natural 1 and a 4. They both miss. And that is all it can do as you stand there in front of it as it neighs up. That blight spell's turned to a lightning strike. Just.
Can Sir Strange taunt it?
Yes, you can.
Pathetic.
All right, and as you say pathetic, almost like a steady stream of lightning burning into its body. On its hind legs, looks down at you, makes a strike with its battle axe, and you just catch the blade with your gauntlet hand and say that to it and throw it back. As the stream ends, the nightmare falls to the ground, burning and smoking all around it. The rider hunched over, signifying its weakness. Okay, that'll be its turn. After that, we come to the satyr, as it has the hound right in front of him. I'm gonna go just around you just a little bit. Just good puppy, good doggy, whatever you want.
It just.
Oh shit! Okay, nope. Just staying right here then. Hey, that's cool, man. But yeah, fine. You want a treat? I don't know if I got any treats. Oh god, let me see if I can find something. It goes to like the splattered brains and clumped up head pieces. Like, do you want some skull? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Out of its mouth.
What have I done? I touched the dead thing. Oh god.
Stay.
No, it talks. Oh god, yes. Oh Jesus. Okay, I'm just gonna stay. Oh god. Rolled a nat 1 at not being intimidated by your hound. Satyr is frightened as fuck at the Shadow Mastiff hound. That'll be its turn. After that, we come to Tarek.
Okay.
At the end of the Satyr's turn, we are going to do a legendary action from the...
Kevin, don't do this to me.
From the Doulahan fucking headless horseman. It's...
Given.
It's as frustrated as I am.
It's working. We're working.
Actually, you know what? This will happen as that head crunches and the beam of lightning stops and Sir Strange says pathetic and blocks the axe hit away. This wail of no screams out from the headless horseman, and the fire on the mane of the nightmare glows even brighter as it uses a legendary action to use Frightful Presence. I'm gonna need Tarek, Sir Strange, Feral, and Fiend to make a Wisdom saving throw. Yes, Sir Strange.
What skill are you using?
Wisdom.
Wisdom saving throw.
But it said frightful. Okay. Is he trying to frighten us? Or
We'll see.
Okay.
Oh no. It's not like I could. Oh no. It's not like Feral's very, wise. Oh no.
You also get a +4 on saves anyway.
But your new armor gives you advantage.
I'm aware. That's why I was like, oh no.
What was that, Sir Strange?
You get a +4 on your saves.
Nice.
25.
21.
22.
21.
Boom shakalaka as that flame frees up and waves around you. This chill comes over you for just a second from the ghoulish howling of a headless horseman reaching out in the night sky, but you quickly get your resolve and this thing is going fucking down. Nothing happens.
I'm not afraid of you, demon.
Tarek, now it is your turn. What would you like?
We fought so much worse. Come on.
Tarek, it is your go. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna hit this bitch.
Okay,
That's what I do.
hit the bitch.
He stood right in front of me. I'm gonna whack him twice. Well, I mean, a 12 doesn't hit, does it?
No.
No. So if the second one hits, an 18 plus 8 will hit, though.
That'll hit, though.
That works. That works for me.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, one of those was max. Okay. 20 damage plus 3. 23.
God of Thunder, how do you want to do this?
Cool. All right. Yeah, just with that like just beam of just like fear that it tries to put over all of us, Tarek's just gonna just shake it off and be like, I fought way worse things than you. And he's literally just gonna, there is no head to whack, so he's just gonna straight down the neck, just
Into like
through it.
the headless gape, into the neck gaping wound.
Hammer straight down it, just through it. There is no head to cave in, so just straight through.
It's the weirdest game of whack-a-mole I've ever seen.
And it wails out that no with its arms outstretched. Tarek, you kind of get your resolve, dust off the bits of stone and debris that you got whacked with your concave chest armor sort of dented. Use your hammer to kind of get a good flight up about 30 or 40 feet. Lays your hammer up, and a bit of that pink lightning that Feral had summoned suddenly infuses Mjolnir. So it's got this pinkish, bluish hue to
golden.
Come all the way down and use the weight of the hammer as you partially let go of it, so its full weight rams down on this guy. Just this explosion of corpse and skin and blood as this explosion happens from the hammer hitting the gaping wound of the rider, implodes all around you as bits of goo and dead skin and nightmare fuel just erupt all over you. But the Dullahan is vanquished. Ramira.
Try getting up from that, asshole.
She
Just
is
say
going
that.
to run. Like, we're out of initiative technically, right?
You are, yes.
So she's gonna book it as far as she can, and she hasn't let her spirit guardians down yet, and she catches the fawn in the spirit guardians. And you can see her make praying hands and then pull them up and hold a sacred flame towards the satyr. And she goes, sit!
The Shadow Hound out of instinct sits.
Oh, that's very cute.
As the
wagging
Shadow
its
Hand
tail.
sits, they're kind of hiding behind this building over here. You say sit, and through the broken debris, the dilapidated building that they're kind of hiding behind, you just see these ethereal rabbits kind of tugging and pulling the satyr down to sit down. Okay, God, I got it. I'll sit down. Okay, ow.
And then as they comply, her knees start to shake again, and she kind of sits down out of need because she's like, oh God, I'm so tired and I've been running, but she still has the sacred flame up, and then kind of just sits there and braces herself on the floor while she sits down holding up her sacred flame. And that's it.
Okay.
Mr. Fiend changes the target of the Shadow Hound to the satyr with sorcery points. And the Shadow Hound kind of licks the satyr, but it's like a lion's tongue.
Oh.
So very, very
papery.
Yeah, it's very thorny and sandpapery. Like if it just touching you hurts, what would be if you ran?
This big sort of sandpaper tongue goes up against the satyr's cheek. He's like, ow, okay, yeah, ow, yeah, fucking, and just It's painful. It hurts. As I fear rabbits are tugging at his clothing to like hold him down.
I say, if this is what the Feywild has to offer, I suppose we'll be all right, won't we?
Throughout this fight, kind of lets the clouds of her thunderstorm dissipate.
Fiends, try taking a hit like that next time and see if you feel so good.
Oh, please. I think you're fine. Shake
That would
it
have
off.
killed you.
I resist necrotic.
Go ahead, Sir Strange.
He just kind of like taps his armor.
Good for you.
Strange is gonna remove their helmet. There's one more.
One more what?
There's another that's not just this one, because Sir Strange isn't aware of the satyr, at least from their understanding.
There's a pathetic goat man around the corner. My hound has got him, and I believe Ramirez sees him.
Also, where is Mullet?
Mullet starts to walk out.
Is
I'll
Mr. Fiend gonna
tower.
punch me in my shit again?
Step by step by step, holding their rib cage, visible bruising on the face, dried skin, the corners of their mouth.
Oh, good morning.
Thank you for finally joining us.
Sorry, guys. Did I miss anything? And with that, we'll be out for the week, everybody. We're gonna end it.
I'm so sad.
All right.
Oh, welcome to the Feywild, everybody. That was very fun. I've been holding that encounter.
Oh my god.
I hope you guys enjoyed our first session of our Feywild arc. I've been working on this arc for a really long time, and I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy that my players had a fun time tonight. Come on back, everybody. We are officially on the road to Gen Con, where you get to see this story live and in person.
Woo!
So every event you see up until Gen Con is all working towards our live session. So thanks to players for coming and showing up each and every Monday. I appreciate you all so very much. And yeah, come back next week, everybody. Same bat time, same motherfucking bat channel. Check out Dicecream Sandwich, all the socials for all the updates and all the cool stuff we're doing over here. But until then, watch your hands, stay safe, and fucking have a good time. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye. Have a wonderful time.
Bye-bye.
Ah.